A single catastrophic moment shattered the world's serenity. A kingdom and its people ended in the blink of an eye, their past buried, their present decimated, and their future obliterated. Wise men, scholars, and soothsayers debate who or what happened to the western reaches. Was it the anger of the gods, a falling celestial body, an arcanist experiment gone awry, or something far more insidious that swept clean the west in a conflagration of screams, ash, and fire? Hundreds of years later, life returned, and with it an inevitable attempt by civilization to encroach upon what nature had reclaimed. It was the dreaded Red Hand of Doom who finally retook and rebuilt the keep. They were the first residents, but certainly not the last. The dwarves of Ashforge, the blue worm Fafnir, a banished adventuring party simply known as the Six Blades, all held the keep and lost it by hubris, tragedy, or invasion. Now the paladin Lord Peridin Drysdale resides over what is known as Restwall Keep, there to protect the point of a civilization's spear. Drysdale struggles against precariously balanced desires to spread the word of Erathis, maintain tenuous peace, and find out just what lies behind the ancient king's wall. Here rest the relics of bygone ages, a kingdom buried beneath the grip of nature renewed, and at the center lies the unknowable mystery and danger of the Chaos Scar. The past, present, and possible future lay before you, adventurers, if you have the courage to explore.
Hey, we're back.
What's with the hammer fist?
What is wrong? Who's hosting this beard? What's wrong? This is.
I can't control my hands.
Well,
look at my hands; they're gigantic. So
hands are gigantic.
They're like stubby. I got stubby hands.
Not your fingers are like this much longer than all of mine.
Yeah, not that.
Yeah, it's weird.
I got like stubby, chunky Vienna sausage fingers.
Chunky hands.
You could still palm a basketball, which I could never even.
No, I can't. I can't palm a basketball.
No, you could.
Can't palm a football either. That's why in college I had to scoop it when they made me play center, and I hated every fucking second of it. All right, I do have meaty mitts. Thank you. My grandma just said I was a husky boy. You're a husky boy.
Please welcome to the stage, Meaty Mitts.
Meaty Mitts and his tag team partner, Husky Boy.
Husky Boy.
What was the one I was supposed to remember to tell Warrior Ben?
Oh, you had a real good one the other day, and I don't remember.
White Cotton.
White Cotton.
White Cotton.
White Cotton is
it's the most Southern NXT name I have ever heard.
White cotton. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh my God, White Cotton's hitting the ring.
White cotton.
White Cotton.
Oh, hit him with the touch, the feel of cotton.
God damn it. All right, hey, we're back. Look at this.
You have to be of a certain age to get that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I am that.
I know you are.
It's wicked. All right, hey, it's Chaos Scar. He's a husky boy, but not your boy type. I see you, Spike. I see
My
you,
boy
Shaggy. I see us all combining like a Voltron of weirdness and just.
That's what we're good at.
All right, so we only have 2 tonight, which is okay because we are going to cover the 3 months between when we left off and now, because these 2 chuckleheads were in the middle of bad things.
He says only warrior like it's not the best too.
Oh,
I know, right?
Wow.
Right.
At 2, Cassandra at 2. I've already got to take it from Warrior. Don't make it worse.
You're like, Warrior's clearly on his bullshit tonight. So, like, how about you calm down?
Isn't that my job as your wife?
I mean, let's be honest. I opened
Shit all
this
the
up
time.
and it wasn't Tiburon that was waiting for me.
I opened it up. Yeah, I didn't change my name before I joined in, so it was Nando, and I was like, let's make this happen.
Yeah. Oh no, not Nando.
Oh no.
I got a bad feeling about this.
20
All right.
career.
Why don't you guys reintroduce yourselves? Although neither of you need an introduction. Tell folks who you are and tell them a little bit about your characters.
Sure, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, you don't get a choice.
Now,
Now,
are you in a right spot or a wrong spot if
I'm
there's
in
only
the
2
wrong
people?
spot. I'm in the wrong spot.
Just have to be last. Is that what that is?
That's better.
Okay.
That's better.
That's
Doesn't it feel better this way?
I'm not
It
gonna lie.
feels so much better.
So much better.
Feels a
Feels
good
so much
balance.
better.
Okay, I guess I'm going first then.
Yeah, as it should be.
Okay. I'm Cassandra. I'm playing Dianthus, who is a Earth Genasi druid. So she got magic and shit. She's cool. Magic and shit.
Magic and shit. Hi, I'm Warrior. I'm playing Tiburon Sausalito. He is a warlock, and he also sells meat. So he's got that going.
Yeah, when you say it like that, it makes me wonder what kind of meat.
I mean, part of the luxury is the mystery.
I mean, he does know a guy.
He does know a guy.
Different guy, but
He knows several.
a different guy knows a different guy.
He knows several guys.
Yes. I mean,
It's like Fast and Furious. It's just like there's the whole underground wagon racing cartel that ferries meat around illicitly.
Hey,
So-
Benjamin, Brian's coming.
I know, and I just wrote him back. I was like, probably better if I just do stuff with you all. And he's not even connected. His thing's not connected correctly. So I think I'm gonna do that. And if he still pops in, we'll see what his character's been doing over that time period.
Yeah.
We've been talking about doing this, and I want to get it
Do
completed
it. Look,
because I'm already starting to lose the beats from the notes I wrote, which is just like. All right, so who wants to start first? Who wants me to go first?
I don't care.
Warrior, would you like to go first?
sure.
Okay. It's been a little over 2 months. Every day has been a sprint to find somewhere to be safe. Every time you feel like you have found somewhere, a glade or possibly even an ally, it's never really lasted. It's always fallen apart behind the like soft cries of old hags and the sound of sharpened knives. You were able to find a bit of solace after a month. And in doing so, you were given a bag of dust, of dream dust. And you were told to make your way to the Midnight Kirk, an abandoned temple of Shar that the Eladrin had. You've been able to circumvent the traps in this eroding and overgrown temple. It has, rather than fallen apart over time, it is instead congealed into this ramshackle building based upon all of the fey plant life that is squeezing it back together, almost like the wildlife refuses to let this thing fall. You have very little light as you move through these dark tunnels, except for the breaks when you can look up and the moon, brighter than it ever should be, is shining directly down upon you. The only light you do have with you, though, is a swarm of brownies with tiny fey lanterns leading your way. You come to a dormant portal where your dust was to be spread that should lead you back to the prime material plane. As you prepare to do this ritual, you hear a hacking laughter. Not the same as the Feywild, but this sounds like someone with a particularly nasty lung, almost a barking laughter. And the shadows open up, and a cloaked, short figure with legs going in the wrong direction, almost equine in nature, walks forward. It's taken me a long time to find you. You weren't planning on leaving, were you?
I was, actually. I'm, in fact, going to right now.
Okay, you throw it down?
Yeah.
Just as you do, this darkling comes flying across, like almost like through the shadows themselves. And as they do, you hit the dust in the portal, like, woo. Do you step through or do you wait? What are you doing?
I step through. I'm through.
You just bye-bye. Like, you see it close right behind you. And you are no longer in the Midnight Kirk. And as you kind of, your eyes readjust, you open your eyes back up to the light, and you are inside of an oven. Well, meanwhile, Dianthus, it has been over a month and a half when you finally come to. The bitterness of this storm continues to rage. It has been nonstop for a month and a half. Brutal weather. You are in a room with your two charges, Envil and Quintus, and there is a individual standing over all three of you in a mask. And they are bringing bowls of soup over from a hearth with a boiling pot in the middle. They kind of look at you, can see their eyes through their mask, look down at you and say, "Are you finally awake? Are you finally awake?" And he pokes you in the nose.
I was really out for a month and a half?
Well, you're almost dead. You were almost dead. Almost dead, but not quite dead. In between dead. In between alive. In between dead. I get them confused sometimes.
I check on the kids. They're okay.
Oh, they're fine. They're hearty and hale. They almost died, but they didn't.
Well, if I almost died, then they definitely almost died.
You don't remember how you came to join us?
No.
Oh, not my tale to tell, but I'm sure one of the locals will stop by. He takes a big, deep flourish of a bow and says that his name is Zedediah Gemini.
Say that one again.
Zedediah Gemini.
Zedediah Gemini.
Gemini. All right, I live in the tower in the center of
Gemini.
town. It's no big deal. It's just a big tower. Biggest tower here. Everyone loves it.
What town?
Oh, you don't even know where you are?
To be honest, no.
Oh.
We had to wander quite a while.
You made your way to Thaw Flats. Impressive. No one comes to visit. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Why not?
Great tragedies. Oh, but I've got too much to do. Storm outside. Stay in here. Stay warm. He points to the kids and they just kind of look up at him. He goes, eat your soup. And he walks out into the storm. And as he's walking out, a massive form squeezes their way through the door, wrapped in just heavy leathers and furs. And they start to remove, and you see metal underneath, and you recognize this is a Warforged.
Oh.
And they say, hello. I am glad to see you are all functional once again.
Thank you.
My name is Paramore. Please partake of your delicious liquid substance. And then they sit cross-legged in the middle of the room and watch you three eat.
Can I determine if it's okay to eat?
If you want to, you can check it out.
I mean, yes. I can't. I don't want to just trust that it's going to be okay for the kids.
Yeah. What are you using to do that?
Ooh. I'm just seeing with this list of spells in this book I have here. Because I got Pinniped's Eminently Useful Tome, which is a magical tome for spells for dealing with poisons, digestive issues, and other similar afflictions.
But have you read it, is the key.
I imagine if we've been wandering because it's got very useful things in it. So if we spent any time,
you know what? I'll tell you what. Why don't you give me an odd or an even?
Odd.
Okay, roll a dice.
Which one?
Any dice, because it's odd and evens.
Yeah, but like if I roll, I was trying to determine if I rolled certain, they're all evens. It's like if I had an odd number of dice, my odds would be a little bit better. I got 9.
Okay. So you recall some writing, and it makes it feel like you do know that this doesn't appear to have anything in it that would be an issue for you.
Did you want to know what spells were in the book?
No, I trust you.
Because I would have been using this to keep us alive, basically. There's all those spells in there are useful. Hero's Feast, Lesser Restoration, Aura Vitality, Conjure Civilized Commode.
Didn't I? Am I the one who gave you that book, right? You didn't pick that.
Yep.
Okay. I think the chat is responsible for some of those spells.
Just, spare the dying. I'm sure all of these came in handy over the last month and a half. Contagion, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
So if it's okay, I'll encourage the kids to eat.
Yes. The kids aren't talking. They're very kind of gaunt and tired, and they look terrible. But Paramore assures you that they're both going to be okay. That is about the point when the door comes open. I guess every time the door comes open, there is just a hellacious snowstorm going outside. And a very, very skinny gnome pushes their way in carrying a rocking chair. Oh, hi there. Oh, hey, you're awake. I brought a present for the kids. I had another one back there. It's just too heavy for me to carry both of them right now. And it's really coming down outside right now. I should probably just, I'll go get that really quick. And Paramore stands up and says, I will go get that. You can just stay here, Luca. And he gets up and he's wiping his hands off in front of the fire. And he comes up and he shakes your hands, Dianthus, and he shakes the little kid's hands. And he says, you had a heck of a scare out there. I mean, when the storm hit, I just didn't think anybody was going to even, I mean, people go out and they just don't come back. When storms hit here, it's an act of the gods. But you three, and he walks over to the little kids and he kind of pokes their noses. He says, you are all lucky. That thing drug you out of the snowbank and carried you all the way into the center of town and then just dropped you off and then just loped back into the storm. I've never seen anything like it.
What thing?
I don't know what to call it. It looked like a big dog. Kind of weirdish face though, and it was, I don't know. I don't really. I'm a carpenter by trade. I'm not really into the whole. You'd have to probably talk to Romulus or maybe even Jess might know something. I'm not sure. It's not really my thing. But it was the damnedest thing I've ever seen. The gentlest monster I've ever seen too. And he looks at the kids and goes, you've got a friend somewhere that's looking out for you. And then at that point, Paramore pushes his way back through the door and he's carrying another God damn it, Ryan. And absolutely both of these not so horses, what are they called? Rocking horses are the most intricately carved things you've ever seen. It looks like, there's inlays and there's interesting carvings, like it's almost like there's stories within stories inside this rocking horse. And the longer you look at it, the more beautiful and stunning it is. And he goes, those are my specialty the last, while. They're really good and I really hope you enjoy them. Anyway, I got to go get some food of my own. And I got to rest these weary hands. Also, don't let your fire die. That's some bad news, man. Paramore,
we'll do our best. Thank you.
He and Paramore shake hands and he leaves. And the kids finally kind of seem to get more spry and they get on rocking horse and they're kind of giggling, but they're doing this very quiet between each other. You have to remember that you've only been with them for this period of time, and it's all been under duress. But when you came across them, they were in a cage.
Yeah. We're gonna need a trauma counselor later.
Yes, trauma informed care will be an absolute must. Paramore says, what you really need to concentrate currently is your health and rest. And he turns, looks at the children and says, and don't let those stories, especially the ones from Luca, get in your head. Monsters don't come into the thaw. They know better. Says, and I'll be watching the door regardless.
Thank you.
He pulls a massive carved chair, and again, you start to realize like all the furniture here is. You've seen some cool stuff. You've seen Adeline's work; it's pretty good. But what you're seeing now is something far beyond what you could even fathom.
Is this his place? Like, the size? Can I tell by the size of it if it's?
Yes. It looks like it wasn't always his place, but that he's lived here for a while.
Okay.
But this is all the same as the work that Luca did on the rocking horses. I don't know why I want to call them sawhorses so desperately.
Because all I do is talk about the sawhorses in the basement that I'm using to paint stuff. I don't know.
Could be. Tiburon, you find yourself in this massive oven. It smells like breads.
At least it's warm.
It's slightly warm, but the big thing you feel is you feel the hand in your bag pulling on you. Like,
What?
this is the sun's hand. Remember? Do you remember?
No.
The sun was the troll.
Oh, that's right. I have his hand. That's right.
And
That's right.
over the span, it's grown. So you have about a hand and a forearm right now.
Hello? What?
It like leans on the forearm, and it's like you leave.
Trying. Going.
You us leave.
He's like leaving as he's like, I'm leaving. What is around?
And then it crawls up your face and goes like this. So it's like quiet. This is a massive oven. Looks like it's probably used for baked goods. It's kept immaculately, but it's definitely the size where you could put 5 people inside of it, or the size, or a pie that big enough to put a single person in. You hear there's quiet outside the oven though. What would you like to do, Tiburon?
Tiburon would like to leave the oven. I think he'll, as quietly as he can, but also quickly, like, get to the door or, opening of the oven and take a look around and see if there's.
You're in a massive kitchen. I mean, it's huge, and there are fresh produce everywhere. Looks like there's some type of preparation for a large meal going on. There is a massive bird's carcass on the cutting board, like it's being prepared. Like there's still some feathers on it, but right now it's quiet.
Yeah, he'll get out of the oven. And is there a clear way to outside?
There is not. There are shuttered windows. All the room seems to be domed, and the window or the portals all seem to be circular, even the doors. But they all seem to be bigger than man-sized.
I think Tiburon will. He'll go around the oven. Is the oven against a wall, or is the oven sort of in the center?
It's built into the wall. There is like a center area, and the center area is where a lot of the food prep is. But there is like an actual indoor well here. The one thing as you're looking around, I would like you to make me a what's the thing where you look around?
Perception.
Perception. Thank you. My brain's been real bad the last 3 weeks, so I apologize.
That's fine. That was a good roll. That was 23.
You're looking around and you see there's hooks where all of the utensils are hanging, but you see no knives.
Does it look like there would be knives, but someone has taken the knives down?
It looks like those knives are all gone. Choppa.
Tiburon will slowly kind of move around the oven to try to find a way out. Actually, I think he'll go to the nearest window, and open the shutter a bit and see.
Okay, you open and you kind of peer out, and you're in the Feywild, obviously.
Sure.
Of course. This looks so. God damn it! I just saw this. Daryl Rhodes. I'm Daryl Rhodes from West Texas Chevrolet. You may know my brother, the American Dream. Anyway,
I call him Country Roads because he takes me home.
you recognize the area, but you'd only seen it in the dark.
Am I back where I started from?
You realize that you're in the Feywild cauldron.
Fucker. I am going to. Who gave me this dust? Because I need
So
to
that's
go.
the thing. You take a moment and you kind of think about it. You receive this dust from a woman named Miriam Cold Cove.
Miriam Coldcuts.
Yeah. She gave you this, and you have this idea of, was she lying to you? Did she know? She's Faye. Did she even care? But it makes you think about the night you spent together dreaming in the grotto. So, Tiburon, who is Miriam and what was the night in the grotto? What was the night dreaming?
Miriam is a satyr.
Either way.
I hardly know her. She, Tiburon had been out in the wilderness or in the Feywild for a while. I think as time has gone, he's sort of gotten a bit more guarded, and I think he's gotten a bit more protective of everything. Like his clothes are clean because he knows prestidigitation, but they're sort of getting worn and torn because he doesn't know mending. And so I think he stumbled across this person. He was hungry. He needed something safe. And so he met Miriam, and she was like, well, we'll be safest in the grotto. You can rest there. You can, let all your worries melt away in this grotto. And so they did. They went to this grotto, and she had, and it was very like clear night. Are there stars in the Feywild? Is that?
There are. For me, when I think of the Feywild, it could be different. You could tell me that there wasn't stars.
I was going to say it was a like very clear, very starry night.
I always think
like, are there?
I always think of the Feywild as being like the regular world, like on steroids. So
Sure.
like stars are like seem way too close. The moon is always
there's like a full
gigantic.
There's like a full on like nebula in the sky.
Yeah. Like where you could pick out like everything out of it.
Yeah. And so they go there. She brings this tea.
Oh, hey, Warrior, have you ever played Valheim?
No.
Okay, damn it. Because when you're running around in Valheim and you're on the world tree, that's what it looks like. Like the stars and nebulas, just everything feels far too cool because you're in the afterlife.
Yeah.
But it's kind of got that feel to it.
Okay. Cool. I get the vibe. So she brings this tea, and they're on like a blanket, and there's a fire. And they're laying on their backs, like looking up at the stars. And she gives him this tea, and he doesn't remember a lot after that, except that it seemed like the stars were getting closer. And
the real question is, were the stars right?
The stars, I think, were not.
Were they bright or were they right? Those are two different things. One is Texas and one is Lovecraft. Those are two different things.
I think that the stars started getting weird, is I think what happened. And so he, when he awoke, he had this dust, and he had no real memory of the last hours or days or however long it had been. But he was in the grotto and Miriam was not. And he went back to it. But, I think that the tea was, there was something in the tea, and he doesn't really know what happened.
Okay.
Or
Perfect.
Yeah.
Would Sun have remembered? Or
probably
was Sun in a bag? I'm assuming you were keeping Sun like.
Sun needs to know. I think Sun needs to like point things.
Okay.
And so I think Sun is broadly not like Sun like resides in the bag, but does not.
So would it be fair to say like you have like a where you like a sword hilt, like a peace bond sword hilt, and maybe Sun just sets in there, and when he wants to, he just crawls into the bag?
I think I think it's more of a like rest on the shoulder thing. I mean, it's a strong hand.
I love this.
It's a strong hand.
Happy.
So
It's just
the
thing.
grip,
Yeah, it's except for way bigger.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. And then I think the backpack I imagine as being sort of one of those that the top would just fold over and there maybe be like a belt strap or something that keeps, so it's loosely closed, but like
the other thing you're realizing too is like soon we're gonna have a hard time carrying this because it's already the forearm and hand are bigger than getting to the point where they're going to be bigger than your leg. A troll is a large creature.
Troll is a large creature, and Tiburon is not.
Yeah,
a big creature.
Like that hand is like getting like chest sized. So
yeah,
from shriveled, it's getting its mojo.
It's this kind of oddly shaped green turtle shell on his
yeah.
Yeah. So I think Sun would probably have some recollection of what happened. Sure. I don't think there would be any way for. I mean, I don't. I think Sun would through. Yeah.
Well, the Sun is kind of moving you around through here. Half excitedly, you'll notice that every couple of times where he's in front of somewhere, he'll hop up and down like yay, and then stop and point at things. And you're seeing that like this place, you didn't catch it as much when you were in the oven because of that kind of bakery smell, but being out, you are getting barraged with these amazing smells. It's like when you step into someone's kitchen who you know is an excellent baker and cook, and it's just there's this overwhelming sense of like of all the things that have been made in there, almost kind of being little sneaky smells that all catch up with you, and there's a very much a nostalgia to it.
Yeah.
This is like that, except for like the best food you've ever had smells. Eventually, he brings you to a portal, which is a door to another room, and he points at that.
Tiburon will, go through.
You open it. You just open it, or are you careful about it? What do you do?
I mean, you think he'll like do the sort of like, like he's pretty like high strong. He's
very like. You've been hunted for like 90 days, whatever it is.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, okay.
It'd be like 60, I guess.
I understand that I need to like be quiet, and I understand that I need to move slowly, even though everything in my body wants to run. Yeah.
You come into the confectionery room, which, I mean, you probably won't remember, but I barely remember because I make this stuff up. This is the Sun's room. Remember, he was a confectionist.
That's right.
And he scampers around the room, just like when you're with someone, like especially a young kid, and they're like trying to show you everything at one time, and you're like, yeah, just give me a second. Or you go into Matt's basement and you see all the toys and you lose your mind. It's just like this very gleeful, like even though you can't see him and he can't verbally communicate, and it's just through a giant green paw of a hand, it's still just like this tugging and pulling all these different places. Make me a perception check.
Okay. 13.
As you're walking through, you happen to put your hand on one of the rolling tables, and you notice it's dusty. Like there's an obvious handprint now where you put your hand. And you start to look around, and it looks like most of the stuff is falling into disuse.
I think that Tiburon will use prestidigitation to make his handprint dusty again.
Okay.
So it's gone. And then he'll...
As you do that, you feel a looming presence behind you.
Does it feel like a hand?
It does feel like a hand. It's a hand with a big rack, and it jumps off and cleans the top of it off. Brings over a book between its thumb and forefingers as it walks on its other fingers and drops a book in front of you of confectionery recipes.
Ooh.
Flips through, reaches up and grabs you by the shirt with its thumb and forefinger and brings you down to a set of recipes.
Tiburon will hold the book in one hand and bring, like, if there's a crate or something he can block the door he came in through with, he'll fully put that, like, and then he'll just, like, sit on the crate pretending like, oh, I was making a chair. But
what languages does Tiburon speak or read?
Great question. He knows Common, Dwarvish, and Elvish.
Okay.
He'll know more when he gets to level 3.
The son dips their hand in confectioner's sugar and moves it around, trying to spell out something to you, but you don't speak giant, so it doesn't hit. Now, what I will let you do is, do you have any spells that allow you to translate?
I sure don't. Warlocks sure don't have a lot of spells.
No, you do not. I forgot about that. Why don't you make me a perception check, or make me an insight check at disadvantage?
Okay.
As the son's hand gets a little more insistent.
14.
You're pretty sure he wants you to make this recipe.
I think Tiburon would have probably used his keen adventuring sense.
Yes.
Tiburon's like, okay, I'll make it. Just
you peer down and you start to brush the flour and dust off the pages.
Oh, please! I prestidigitated away. I don't. I don't get my hands.
And it's a recipe for something called mother's milk.
Gross.
As you look through it, you realize, oh, this isn't gross. This is like a sweet. This is a very... The ingredients are interesting, but nothing like Eye of Newt and all that. It's a very much something that if you're very meticulous, you could probably make. And the son is being very insistent at this moment.
I mean, great news. Tiburon is extremely meticulous about this stuff.
What? Tiburon meticulous? I don't know what you're talking about.
And he will quickly prestidigitate like the whole, like he's sanitizing.
He's like do.
Yeah.
All you can hear
more
is
flourishes,
an air horn the entire time.
Yeah. There's a lot of air horning.
Or as you're air horning, back in the thaw, Dianthus, the night has come and gone. You actually feel much better. Like and the children are sleeping, kind of curled up where Paramore is, almost like he's big. He's like got both of them. He's like holding them, and he's like still just staring. And he says, I think they are frightened. I do not know the circumstances of your arrival, but the entirety of the town has spoken of it. I'm glad you survived such an ordeal.
Honestly, I don't know much about our arrival either, but I know we left real bad situations, so.
Well, hopefully we can improve your situation. I will take the children. if that is amendable to you. There are 2 children a few huts over, Ellie and Taryn, who will be excited to meet new friends.
You're talking temporarily, right?
Temporarily. I'm assuming they are not your children, but
No.
you are their ward.
Yes, I'm taking them back to their mother.
I see. Well, would it be amendable if I had them play with the children a few houses down?
Ooh, do I get a feeling that that's okay? That they'd be safe?
You can make an insight check.
I'm reluctant to let them out of my sight. Oh,
You can also just say no.
yeah, I mean, I rolled a 4, so I would feel uncomfortable. I'd rather they stay with me.
I see. Would it be amendable if I was to bring Ellie and Taryn here?
That'd be fine.
So he gets up and he walks outside. And again, this storm seems like it just has not relented whatsoever. Before he can return, there is a knock on the door.
It's a busy town. Everyone wants to come say hi.
And a tall, thin man pushes his way through, and he's super bundled up. Looks like an older man. And he looks around, and he just sees the kids, and he looks just stunned. And then he sees you, and he's like, "Oh, I'm afraid I've. You're not Paramore. Where's Paramore? What is this?"
He just stepped out for a moment. Can I help you?
What is this? Who are you, and who are they? And
we were out in the storm, and we got rescued, brought in.
Oh, I do not like this. I do not like this whatsoever.
Are
He's
you
rubbing
okay?
his hands, and he looks down, and he walks up to one of the children, walks up to Quintus, and he touches him, and he goes, tell Paramore that I stopped by, and that
Who are you?
I am Romulus. This is not, bye, goodbye. He looks at the children. He pushes his way out the door. Paramore returns, and about 10 minutes later, and he's carrying 2 bundles with him. And he brings them in and sets them down. And there are 2 children inside these bundles. And then they get up, and they do the whole kid things when kids don't know each other, the kind of feeling out process. And then before long, they're on rocking horses.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Thank you for allowing the children to play. Now,
It'll be good for them.
I'm sure you have questions about our small village. I can either answer what I can, or I can take you to Zedediah's tower. Which would you prefer?"
I mean, we could stay here and chat. I would like to keep my eye on the kids, so.
A sensible solution. He sits down. It's a 1-room house.
Mm-hmm.
And he sits down, so he's facing in between you and the children. He says, "This will let them know we are speaking, but it will not allow our voices to carry too far. Ours is a small village. It has been ravaged by storms each winter that have caused our populace to drop considerably, each winter seeming to be more difficult than the last. We don't get many visitors. There isn't much of value here. That's why it was so surprising to find a woman and 2 children in the town square by the tower. I'm sure you can imagine.
Sure I can.
I would ask you where you were that brought you to our doorstep.
Oh, he feels pretty trustworthy, right?
He's hard to get a read on because he's
The Warforged.
Warforged, and he seems, even by Warforged standards, seems to be a little more stiff and robotic.
I mean, I don't have a reason to lie.
I would prefer you did not.
I set out to save these children from the Feywild with a companion of mine who has gone missing.
I know nothing of the Feywild beyond when we are visited by the roadhouse. But that has been a number of years since last it appeared.
When you say there hasn't been as many children, it's because there hasn't been as many coming into the world, or they're disappearing? Or is it just visitors in general, you mean?
Visitors in general, people staying. As I said, our populace has dropped considerably over the last 15 years.
Do I feel like we got a fair amount of distance away from the little portal area we went through?
Yeah.
Okay. I just was like,
He offers to take you back to it if that's what you want. I mean,
we do not want to go back to the portal.
Okay.
Need to.
Well, there's not an obvious portal there.
True.
I suppose they know nothing. Just a huge tree.
He knows nothing when I talk about like the keep or the impenetrable fortress of Dib.
He doesn't know anything about Dib, but he is familiar with Restwell.
How far away is it?
Restwell is at least a 10-day ride.
Do I feel like
impassable in this particular weather? God damn it!
But it was so. I know. I'm trying to get a feel of like if I feel like we're on the direction home or we like way out in a like wrong way.
He actually, if you ask, he shows you a map.
Okay, yeah.
He pulls a parchment. You are a ways away. You were out in the boonies.
I know. I was trying to figure if we walked to that far away or if we just ended up that far away because of the portal.
He's able to kind of point to where he's been told you were found, and it looks like you were taken a few miles, which you're like, that's crazy. There's no way because we couldn't even see in front of our faces.
Yeah.
But he's able to show you where he's been told you were brought from.
Okay.
Because they did send him out, and he did bring back your magical device.
How long do they expect the storm to last?
We've had storms here that have lasted 9 months, and sometimes as short as 3.
Oh, goodness. How long has this one been going on?
The storm began about a day before you arrived.
Okay.
When you see people walk in, you can see that it's been pushed out and the snow is about waist high on most people. It's a good Minnesota winter storm.
Oh, good. Yay.
You also notice that there's like ropes that are like coated doors and everything, just like where we're up here now. I jokingly say that, but when I moved to Wisconsin the first time, there were ropes from the front door to the driveway down to the thing because they were like, hey, when it gets bad here, you're going to want to hold on to that so you know where you're going. And it's like, what? No way. And then it was real bad one winter, and I was like, I am never leaving the house again. I live here now forever.
In the house forever.
This is my tomb.
Yeah.
I believe I have enough terrible food and beer to help my survival for a while.
It's important.
All right. He says that I do not believe it is wise to make an attempt to trek through the land until the storm has subsided.
No, it would not be safe for the kids.
It would not be safe for you.
Tougher than the average person. I'd be okay, but The kids are mine until I can reunite them with their mother. So
He kind of sits up straighter and says, I have heard people say those words before. Step out into the storm, disappear into the white, blowing snow, and never return.
that's why we will not be going out in the storm.
You get what looks like a slight smile on a face that doesn't really have the ability to smile. And a knock at the door occurs.
Your house is busy.
I am a hub, and I am a social butterfly.
So, by the way, I told him that Romulus stopped by.
Oh, okay. He says, interesting.
He was very nervous.
As I feared he would be. A person wearing a mask comes to the door and speaks in hushed tones to Paramore. And he turns and looks at you and says, you have been summoned to Zedediah's tower. I would suggest you do not tarry. Isn't that the word I'm looking for? Tarry? Dawdle? Isn't Terry and Dawdle the same thing? Like,
I don't know. Dilly dally.
I think so.
yeah, I don't know why Terry popped in my head. Now all I can think of is Crooked Terry. Now I just want to call him Crooked Terry Crews, but that's not right. Crooked Terry Fox. Crooked Terry Fox.
Terry Fox.
He's on the Russians' payroll.
Right. Is it safe to go out now in the storm?
You'll simply follow the rope lines. It will be just fine.
Okay.
And he says,
He didn't invite the kids though, did he? He just invited me.
His apprentice is fine leading you. And the person's waiting by the door for you. Make me a perception check, please.
Rolled a 12, which means it's tiny. 19.
This person is wearing inappropriate clothing for this weather.
What do you mean inappropriate?
At first you think they're wearing like a blackened shirt beneath their like jerkin, but it's like their skin is blackened. They are wearing just a jerkin, just like a vest.
Have I seen someone like this before?
No, this though looks. You're pretty smart about like poultices and things, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would think so. I
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
got my spores and grow shit. Grow shit.
Okay. You think you need a closer look, but this does not look correct.
Okay.
Are you going to go visit Zedediah?
Yes, but I'm going to make Paramore promise that he's going to take care of the kids till I get back. I know he's a Warforged, and that probably doesn't mean anything to him, but it means something to me.
The children shall remain safe.
Don't let them go anywhere.
They are not allowed to leave.
Don't let anyone take them.
No one will be coming for them.
Okay. Okay, I'll leave.
You follow behind this person, and where you're struggling a little bit, like head down, using the rope to guide your way, they are just walking straight through this.
Jeez.
And you come to the tower's entrance. And you're brought inside. And then as soon as they allow you inside, they just stand at the door.
Try to reach out my hand, shake, and say thank you. See if they do anything.
They just stand there, stiff as a board.
Okay. Worth seeing.
You make your way up and you hear a lot of clanging and cluttering upstairs, and there's Zedediah working furiously at an alchemy table.
I was like, what, cooking?
Cooking that meth. That good meth.
Possibility.
He's tapping his fingers, and he turns and looks and says, well, I wasn't sure you would come, but I'm glad that you did. We should have a short discussion. What are
Okay.
your intentions with the thaw?
I am just trying to get home, so my intentions are to stay as long as I need to be safe, and then I'm out.
Would it be correct to surmise that once you leave this place that you will never speak of it again?
I don't need to if I'm asked not to.
It's just that we have endured so much here. I would prefer that it remains our secret place.
You don't want people to come. I've heard town's been thinning out. You don't want people to come move in.
Make me a perception check, and depending on your roll, we're going to make an Arcana check after.
21.
Oh, you can make an Arcana check at advantage. Bad.
I rolled a 2 and a 1.
Ooh.
Just about the worst roll you could do on an advantage check.
You get a perception that when you say that the demeanor changes slightly. And Zedediah leans in and says, our calamity is ours. Others would only serve to make it worse.
You don't think others could help maybe correct your calamity?
He waves you to come with him.
Okay.
You make your way down into the basement levels of the tower. And you come into a large, looks like a I can't think what they would be called at this time. Kind of like an apothecary, but not quite. More like someone who handles the dead. And he introduces you to a robust looking woman who looks like probably in better times was a larger lady, but looks like she has lost a lot of weight, and probably not in the best way. She looks haggard and tired.
Okay.
And she says, allow me to introduce you to Jess Colthrop, our cold cook. And she kind of looks just flat when he says that at her. And you notice that she is actually has a kiln going.
Did you call her a cold cook?
Which apparently at one point was a word for people who handled the dead, which I always thought that was interesting.
Oh, and so not like an actual cook.
No.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, what the fuck is a cold cook?
And she is making these absolutely super intricate urns. And there is a place where she has burned, you can tell it's burned bodies.
Okay.
We don't allow the dead. We have had too many instances of them returning.
I believe I've seen that before.
Jess is the person who handles this for us. And she kind of looks at you and then looks at him and says, I'm sure if you just allowed me, I can introduce myself. I'm a grown woman. And then I could even walk her through this, what we do here. I think it's flat quiet.
Are they a couple? I've seen this before.
And Zedediah says, I don't think that will be necessary. And you can see her look kind of exasperated. And she walks up to you with one of the urns. And it's much like the woodwork. It's absolutely amazing. Like there are things carved into this within things.
Okay.
And she says, "This is what I spend my time on now, especially in the winter.
It's beautiful.
It has to be. It's the story of people's lives. It's all that they have left once they've passed. Maybe one day I can make one for you."
I'm hoping that time is a great while down the road.
She gives a very forced laugh, puts her hand on your forearm like a ha 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 ha, and she squeezes you very hard.
Shit. Mm-hmm.
Zedadai stands there very passively. And she says, "Here," I mean, she looks at him and says, "Can I show her how I do this?" And very slowly he turns and nods. She walks you over to the spinning table and she's spinning out another urn. And you watch as she takes her tool and she's carving. And at first, you're like, she seems to be carving something not intricate at all. It's almost sloppy.
Okay.
I would like you to make me a perception check. That's a big one.
It's not going to be great.
Well, you both have one. You always start off with one thing. If you want to use it now, you can. You know the thing I'm talking about?
Yes.
The reroll thing?
Inspiration.
Inspiration, thank you.
I'm probably going to need to because that only came out to a 10. Which is bad when you have a +7. It's a 16. Not a lot better.
As it's spinning, you realize she's putting words on it. They're spinning very quickly.
Words I recognize.
You catch the letters TH, you catch the word all, and you catch the words AD, or the letters AD. And at that point, Zedadiah walks up, casts a spell, and the urn melts. Says, "I think we've made enough of your time today. I'm going to take our guest back to her residence." As he leads you back up, he says, "Pay no attention. Jess is slightly idiosyncratic now after all the loss that she has suffered."
Take it she's lost her family.
We have all lost here. The other thing you're noticing is like the voice is different than when you met him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's far less welcoming. It's far less kind of, I guess, goofy. And it's far more hollow.
Okay. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Stay within your cabin. That would be what you can do for me.
Had no plans to wander out in the storm?
Only if you are summoned.
Could also just wait till the storm goes by.
Sometimes the storm has lasted almost a year. I don't know if that's what is going to happen this time. We'll have to see how the storm plays itself out. Then the voice changes slightly. "Brill, please return our guest to her dwelling." That would be fantastic, my young friend. Fantastic indeed. Oh, couldn't ask for a better apprentice.
Throw some split personalities.
And the man with the blackened skin,
What did he call him?
Brill.
Brill?
Bril. I meant to say Bill and it came out Brill, so it's Brill now, baby.
I just was checking one thing real quick.
While you figure that out, we're going to go back to the confectionery room. Tiburon,
Well,
I would like you to make me a 5 before 3. And I'm going to allow you to tell me what skills you're using. You cannot double. And you have to tell me how you're using them in order to make the mother's milk.
make the candy.
Make it a candy.
Make it a candy. I think that first Tiburon would use investigation. I think he is very meticulous, and he wants to familiarize himself with the ingredients, the space, the tools. He wants everything in its right place. And so I think he wants to do that, both get organized and also understand how the sun sort of works in the space. And
it's a big space. I mean, you get the feeling that the sun, when in full sun mode, is probably got to do a little ducking and moving, with a very delicate agility. But like for you, you're like, okay, well, if I want to work at the rolling table and then go over here, that's a 2-step move. Like the oven is like way over here. And for him, it would be like just a gentle step.
Yeah. So I think he's adapting the space to be a space that he can work in.
Perfect.
Correctly.
So why don't you make me that roll, please?
I will make that roll.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
I will. That's a good roll. That's 21.
Yeah, you realize like some of it might, because it requires a lot of timing and quickness to deal with this. But you're like, I think I can do this pretty easily. I'm spry on my feet.
Sure. Okay. Sorry, this is 5 before 3.
Before 3, yeah. So 5 successes before 3 failures.
Okay. I think next he will use history. And in this context that he is calling upon not just on his skills as a fine meats purveyor and creator, but also sort of like his broad
bon vivant
culinary knowledge, right? Like he may not practice confection, but he knows a lot about confection. He's learned about it. He likes to look into other techniques and disciplines to get ideas for his own recipes and techniques. So oh my god, I rolled the wrong one. Sorry. That is 11.
Okay. This is a little more complex than you thought it was going to be, just because it's a recipe you've never seen before. Some of the ingredients you have no experience with. Some of them don't even appear in the prime material plane. But the one thing you do find is the sun brings you over and you find very, very nice tools. These are all made of gold with other precious metal inlaid in them. And you find this wooden like spatula tool that is, you're sure that this is not mundane. Like this is a magical tool because it's really big. It's a paddle, but you're able to easily pick it up and move it around. It's almost like you kind of watch it and it gets smaller in your hand. So it's easier for to use. But you realize also you're starting to worry a little bit. This might be beyond your skill. By the way, just to ask you, Warrior, what is mother's milk?
I feel like it is a sort of ethereal yet nutrient dense nougat type vibe.
Okay.
And sugar is notoriously hard to work with also. Like, woof. All right. Next, he will try. He will he'll use perception. He's just like, okay, like I can't rely on my knowledge here. There's weird shit that doesn't exist where I come from, but if I'm aware of my surroundings and like maintain focus, I can succeed maybe. That was a natural 20.
All right. So as you do so, and as you're kind of looking around and organizing things, your mojo comes back to you, and you're like, wait a second. This is very similar to something that I've seen before. And I have these tools in front of me now. Ingredients look good. And you start to formulate your plan on how you're going to go about this, because it is, you realize this is a very timing oriented recipe.
Yes.
So currently you're rocking 3 before 1.
3 before 1.
Crit is always 2 successes.
I like that for me. I think then Tiburon will try his hand at I think he will use sleight of hand in the way that he's trying to be appropriately dexterous still, as we're still in the early stages. I think is like it's progressing, it's becoming, the substance is becoming more familiar in that it's more substantial, and he's usually used to work with very substantial things. So I think he's going to try to continue to have light touch and use sleight of hand to not burn his little fingies. That is an 11 again.
You do burn your little fingies.
Oh,
unless you want to use your inspiration, you're burning your little
I do.
Okay.
You know what? I do. Tiburon likes his fingies. He needs his fingies. He's like, shit, that was close. And goes and like puts on some gloves or something. There's actually, you know what? That's probably ridiculous. His whole hand probably puts into like a finger of like the other glove. So he's like, no, never mind. So I think next he will use.
Well, did you re-roll?
Oh, I didn't re-roll. Thank you for reminding
You're welcome.
me.
I was like, didn't you want to re-roll that?
I did want to re-roll that. Let me do that again. That's better. That's 15.
Perfect. It starts to burn, and you're realizing you're going to burn your hands, and you quickly remove it from the heat, whip it harder, pull it back, and then slowly bring it back to the heat. You get more control back over it, and you realize, like, okay, I'm in the final stages of this.
Okay, I'm getting close. I think Tiburon is going to try. I think he's a bit.
And that's when you hear the voices in the kitchen.
Great.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it's just a feast. It's a bunch of women's voices. They're just talking about all kinds of things. Are you going to stop doing what you're doing? Because I'm about to ruin the mother's milk that you're trying to do.
I like what you tried to do there.
Yeah, it didn't.
I know what you were going for.
Why, Ben? Why?
It was a challenging one to mold to.
Yeah.
Wasn't necessary.
Sorry, I live the Humpty Dance life. And I can't stop it. Neither can you.
Look, once you get busy in a Burger King bathroom, there's no going back.
There's no going back.
There's no going back. Once you have it your way.
Yeah, once you have it
okay. Tiburon, I think the voices particularly I think he's been a bit sheepish about magic and arcana, because that's typically something he would intersperse into his craft, but I think he's been a bit sheepish about that. And I think when he hears the voices, he's like, okay, sometimes you just have to muscle your way through it. So I think he's going to use I think he's going to use acrobatics, and this is what the reason I mean this is that he has to now like pull this.
Yep.
And he's in a space that's much too large for him. So I think he is sort of like it's a very animated technique. Like he's moving a lot. Like he is working a sweat.
Give me that sweet roll.
Okay, acrobatics. 14.
Okay. You are like trying to figure out how to do this. The sun gets underneath it, holds the bowl, and spins it as you were like literally like foot on a counter, foot on a chair, like rolling it and turning it, rolling it and turning it. But you're starting to lose it. So what are you going to do? This is for all the marbles.
This is for all the marbles.
This is for all the milk, all the mothers.
All the milk. Okay. I think it's, at this point, it's a performance. I mean, it's like, all right, technique, is the technique
be damned. I have to feel it.
Yeah, he's like, he has to wing it a bit, right? Like he's improvising here. He can't rely fully on technique or craft.
How big performance are we going here? Are we going small, quiet, back of a room? Are we going full blown like?
I mean, I think that
can't stop me now.
Like, listen, I think that the experience of getting back into craft has sort of taken a bit of the fear out of him. Like he's in the moment and he's like, I'm gonna get this done. Like I've been getting hunted for like months now. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get out of here alive.
I'm gonna make at least fucking candy.
Some fucking candy. So,
fear my candy.
Yeah, fuck it. The son wants me to make some candy. I'll make some candy.
All right, let's see that sweet performance roll.
All right. That's a natural 20.
So you are like, you're almost in the throes of just performance in dance and everything. The block gets pushed out in front of and falls, and you see. You don't even see because you don't even tell. You're too into this. You hear voices, but gosh, they're just miles away, and then all that matters is the candy. I would like you to roll me a performance at advantage against my roll, and this kind of will tell you where things are going.
Oops, sorry.
At advantage.
Okay. 20.
So you start to catch these women with butcher knives coming into the room at you, and you just say, fuck it. You go even harder. And they start clanging their knives, and then they start dancing, and they start stomping, and then they start moving around the room. One circle turning one way, the circle outside of it of women turning the other way. And then there's clapping, and then it's just like this intense, feverish thing. I want you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Come on, Tiburon. You can do it, buddy. 15.
15. You're losing yourself to this. Like, you don't know if you can stop. Who could stop the nougat? Your hands are starting to blister from turning so hard. And it's almost like this madness upon you. But you bring it back in just enough to recognize when you've reached perfection. And you end with a flourish, sliding down into half splits with the paddle on the ground, with the sun throwing the bowl up, and you kind of catching it with one arm because it's a fucking big bowl. And you're like, oh God. And the sun propping it back up to hold you there. And it takes another about minute for the women to stop. And when they do, they come out of this daze. Their eyes kind of glazed over. their hands turning to white knuckle around their knives. They start to make their way in towards you. You realize what a bad spot you're in.
It's a bad spot.
When you hear a Tiburon, and you see Adeline walk through the door.
Adeline?
Dianthus.
Fine.
I got to keep you on the hook.
I know.
What were you checking? You were...
I just was seeing if I could like sense undead. I can do some spells for things, but not like sense. So I just wanted to. I was trying to get a vibe off the brill.
I would say I would allow you to make me an Arcana check.
I mean, my Arcana's a 0, so
Well, that's fine.
I rolled a 9.
Okay. It's not terribly hidden. He is definitely undead. Like all that black is like frostbite. Like he is deceased.
And he hasn't talked at all, right?
Nope. He's got a mask over his face. He's wearing what looked to be like almost summer clothes.
You okay?
He does not say a word, and he continues to lead you to where you are, to your destination.
Okay. Well, worth a shot.
There appears to be absolutely no malice. There just seems to be a focus on following directives.
I just was curious if he actually talked. So
you come in and you find that Envil and Quintus are softly crying.
I'm going right over there. Make sure they're okay. Comfort them. See if
they're just upset.
Over what?
They left. We were playing and then they were gone.
Who left?
Ellie and Taryn, we were playing and then they're just gone.
Like they walked out the door?
No, they were just gone.
Is
Paramore standing in front of the fire.
Paramore, what's going on?
The children had to return home.
Did they return home normally?
Yes.
Did you take them home?
No.
How'd they get home?
I was told not to leave. I had to watch the children.
So how did they get home?
They know their way home. They've lived here their entire lives.
Oh, okay. Seems weird that the kids are upset about them having to go home.
He kind of pulls you away from the children. He says, I find children very difficult. They do not make very much sense. I try to cater to their needs and be understanding of their situation. This is what I have learned over time.
They're young. They don't know, so.
They're very upset.
I see that.
He bends down and looks at them and says, if it would help, I will go check on them.
Sure, I'm sure it wouldn't hurt.
He leaves.
Is there, does he have any, like, storage or anything here?
What you see is what you get.
Nothing on the walls.
There's stuff on the walls. I mean, there's like a painting. There's like a stag's head.
Where was he keeping the map he showed me earlier?
He has like a map stand.
Okay.
There's a table and some chairs. There is a pot over the fire. It's a very simple.
I want to study the map some more in case we need to make a getaway.
Very easy. The kids are like hugging your legs at this point. They're still kind of crying.
Yeah, no, I'll take care of them.
They just went away. I don't know. We were playing and then they were gone.
Well, they had to go home, like everyone
they were
eventually.
Just gone. They were gone.
Like they disappeared, or you watched them walk out the door?
They were just gone. They were there and then they weren't there anymore.
Okay. Did anything happen before they left?
No, we were just playing.
What were you playing with?
Rocking horses.
Were they on the rocking horses
No.
when they left?
No, they were pushing us and then they were gone.
They didn't walk out the door?
No.
I'm sure it's okay.
Oh, you went away. And the nice man was with us and he would let us play. He sang a song and we played for a while and then they were just gone.
Were they gone during the song or after the song?
After. He was stirring the stew and he had his back to us and then they were gone.
I really, for some reason, want to cast a spell magic.
What do you want to cast a spell magic on? Also, you have the information you received from Jess as well. Still look up.
Well, my assumption on what she was spelling is they're all dead. So that's the vibe I'm going on, is they're all dead. Paramore, because he's a Warforged, can't be dead. So either he's one of the bad ones or he doesn't realize what's going on.
There's a knock at the door.
I talk through the door. I don't open the door.
Hey, it's cold out here. Could you let me in? I have something for you.
It's not my house, though.
You let me in before.
This is
I am freezing out here.
Fine.
You
Is
let him in.
this Luca?
Luca, and he's dragging 2 finely crafted rocking horses.
We already have rocking horses.
Oh, yeah, but I thought I would just, make a couple more. They just, I really make them all the time.
Why do we need more rocking horses?
The kids are fascinated by these rocking horses. They are very, very similar in craftsmanship, but they are completely different. Well, they're just they're not horse heads. But they're also they're different. They've been painted instead of stained. Again, it's just insane craftsmanship.
How do you make these so fast?
Oh, I just spent a lot of time. Got a lot of time on my hands. The idle hands. Those are Mephistopheles' playground. So I try to stay busy every day for your whole life.
Luca, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks for asking.
No, Luca, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Do I not look like? Do I have something on my face? He's rubbing at his face very hard.
Does he look normal?
Define normal.
Blood pumping through his skin?
Make me a perception check.
Oh boy, come on, dice. 12.
You're not sure. Do you want to touch him? Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to pat his back, but end up up here by his neck. I want to try to touch his skin. Is he warm?
He is. You're 90% sure he's alive.
Okay. Luca, do you need something? Is that why you've come back?
No, I just came because I made these rocking horses for the kids. I thought they were pretty cool, and I thought kids would like them. I like to make things. It keeps the time going.
Do you make anything other than rocking horses?
You see him kind of stop and think for a second and goes. He looks at you and he kind of has a very odd look on his face and says, I don't remember. All right, well, things are going to make themselves. I'll be back sometime later. Bye, bye, kids. And they're like, bye.
Oh, God.
And he leaves.
Oh, God. Okay, hold on.
You hear him talking to someone outside.
Who is he? Can I put my ear to the door?
Yep.
What do I hear?
I told you, they're not real. Don't know why you keep going in there with those stupid horses. Leave them alone. They're just like everybody else. Oh man, you're harsh in my rocking chair, Buzz. Well, just don't go in. Just don't go in.
Does it sound like someone I've met?
Why? Yeah, it sounds like Romulus. Well, why are you here, man? It's like, because I'm out of soup. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to fill my bowl. And I'm going to close my eyes and leave. I don't need to see their faces. They're not even there. This is all just in our heads. I'm going to go back. I'm going to spice up my soup like I always do. And then I'm going to fall asleep like every other night. All right, man.
I want to cast Dispel Magic on the soup.
Okay. You cast a spell magic on the soup. Nothing happens.
Damn it. Okay.
You hear the door open and the long, gangly form of Romulus makes his way in. He doesn't look at you. In fact, he's looking away the whole time. He fills up a large bowl of soup. The kids are playing and they're like, hi. And he literally turns.
Can I
back.
step in front of him before he leaves? Like block his way to the door?
You block the way and he puts his head down and you can see him squeezing his eyes shut. And he's like, nope.
Everything okay, Romulus?
Nope. Everything's fine. I'm fine. Everything's good. Everything's the same as it always has been. Everything will be the same as it always is. I'm fine.
What do you mean?
Great.
What do you mean everything's the same?
It's cold outside, warm in here. Everything's great. Everything's fantastic.
You want to stay and eat your soup with us? We'd love the company.
You watch as his hands start to visibly shake.
It's considered great hospitality in my town to
He bumps into you by trying to reach through you to the door.
Yeah, but he obviously can't reach through me, so like, is that a problem for him?
He takes a couple steps back and he drops his crock and it breaks on the floor. And the kids holler and he screams and he pushes past you and runs out into the storm.
Okay.
Moments pass and you see a shape out in the snow.
What's it look like?
Looks like a massive person.
Does it look like the thing they described pulled us? No?
Paramore, and he's dragging Romulus.
Why is he dragging Romulus?
He comes inside and says, I'm sorry, but our friend has had an accident.
Is
I
he
don't
okay?
care for him. He is unconscious.
How did he get unconscious?
He has fallen. He apparently was very distraught over something. Oh, there's a mess on the floor. I will clean this up as well.
He dropped his soup on the way out the door.
Would it be amendable for you to sleep on the floor this evening so he can have the bed?
Yeah, that's fine.
Curious
Is he going to be okay to be in the same room as us?
He turns and looks and says, why would he not be okay for that?
He doesn't seem to like us.
He is a strange man. I will be retrieving his medication from his home as well.
What kind of medication?
I do not know. He is an apothecary, and he self-manages his own medication. His tinctures are not something I would understand.
Okay. Does he need any help, you think, or do you think he's just going to be out?
I do not know. I am not rote in human physiology.
Okay.
He's got a massive bump on his head. A little bit of blood, but not much. Just a massive goose egg.
I mean, I can cast Cure Wounds on him if
you want to, you can.
Sure, why not? Let's be real nice.
You watch the lump subside, and he just kind of groans. And Paramore says, that is fantastic. An amazing ability you have. I shall return shortly with the medication. Would it be okay if I leave him in your capable hands?
Sure.
He leaves.
Does he stay out the whole time?
He's just groaning. But the injury has subsided.
There's that. Hopefully the cure wounds means no brain bleed. Brain bleed. Bleed brain? Brain bleed.
Brain bleed.
If
No.
I'm having a brain bleed.
He does not have walk and die syndrome.
Does he have a TBI? Do we need to worry about that? We need a concussion test? God, you're not the only person with a TBI, Ben.
You don't believe so. I think honestly, in the weirdest sense, I believe that like cure wounds would prevent that.
Maybe.
Because it's an immediate effect.
Mm-hmm.
So not to get like too far off into the weeds, but I wanted to bring this up too. Maybe you'll have an opinion on this, Ryan. Things like healing and like in Star Wars Bacta, kind of my thought is like if you get that quickly, it takes care of it. But like if I'm in Star Wars and like you cut my hand off, Luke, and I don't get to Bacta soon, or I don't have the limb, it ain't coming back. And I kind of think about D&D the same way. Unless you have like a spell that regenerates a limb or whatever, when you cast a spell on me, if like someone cuts my leg off, my leg ain't growing back.
Yeah.
You just stopped it from getting worse.
Yeah.
Now, if you have like a regeneration or something like that, or spell, or like a wish, or whatever it may be, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Broadly agree with that.
Yeah, I would say that like if someone else has a different take on it, I'm always open to hearing different ideas on it.
I do think that like I'm of the opinion that if you have minor injuries, cuts, scrapes, that kind of thing, that a cantrip should be able to take care of that. Honestly.
I think of that as that you don't even need a cantrip. You're a fucking adventurer.
Right.
You're made of hardier stock. So if you like, if you injure yourself, it's like if you break a hand, I'm not that worried about it. You're gonna have maybe your knuckles. It hurts when you squeeze them or when the weather changes. But like, I'm not looking at that as like that does not require a spell.
Just
like,
barbarians out there raging. And
exactly. You just rub some dirt on it and get back out there. But if like you break an ankle or rib or something like that, then I'm like, okay, that's shit that is bothersome. Like fingers and toes and even like foots and hands, they suck, but like you can be relatively functional at that. If you've ever broken a rib, you know that ain't fucking the case.
Not the case.
Yeah, you break an ankle, you break a leg, you break an arm. I would even say arm maybe if you take care of it. But I also think like that's enough for a medicine check. Like we were talking about before about using different stats for checks. Where that person was like, I want to use strength to set the bone. I was like, that's brilliant. That's one of the coolest things I've ever heard. So
and I think it also gives some purpose to a medicine check. Because like if it's like, okay, well, if without cure wounds I can't like heal someone, then what's the point? Because otherwise that becomes like detect poison or like, can I eat this, or like. Well,
I think that's a good way to look at medicine. Medicine to me, then we should look at it as it's the catch-all that's not magic. It's like, okay, well, you know what? I know enough about physiology, or I know enough about whatever it is that I can probably figure this out, and I can probably keep it from getting any worse.
Yeah,
at minimum. Sure. And if I roll really, really well, I can probably fix this.
Yeah, totally.
So, okay, cool. That was an interesting little conversation. So that was a sidebar.
Give me time to look up something that's in this book that I've never heard of before. Healing Spirit.
Yeah, Healing Spirit's a fun spell.
I've never heard of that one before.
I couldn't tell you what it does. So
I call forth a spirit that will soothe the wounded, like an actual.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ghost.
It's a ghost. You call ghost nurse assistant.
Basically,
this is my nurse assistant, Sally.
Looks
like she is undead.
Looks like a transparent beast or fae of my choice. It's a ghost doggy.
If I was playing, I would I would customize all those spells to some idiotic thing I was doing, and it would be
Right.
awesome.
It's
All
a
right,
Mhm.
bonus action. Okay, sorry.
let's go back to Tiburon. As the
Um,
women almost comically surround you with their blades out, and you stand there with an arm holding a
Full of-
mother's milk nougat, and realize, oh, this is not good. You
Um,
do hear Adeline's voice.
Adeline. So two.
She says, "What are you doing here? I thought you were dead. Like I
Well,
was
I'm
told."
not, but I'm about to be. Would you like some
As soon as
candy?
she says no, everyone stops, and they look at her, and she starts to walk forward, and she puts her hands out and she touches your shoulder, and she's like, "I can't. It worked." And you watch as her right hand falls off.
What happened to your hand? What's going
She
on?
reaches, she yells, and she grabs, and the women around um, tend to her wound. Do you keep the blood out of the mother's milk?
Yes, I think
Okay.
he would be like, I worked really hard on this. I don't want
Okay.
you to get blood on that.
Perfect. Just wanted to make sure. They take her out of the room. It's just you, the son, and an older woman standing in front of the door with a meat cleaver.
Um,
She's looking at you, kind of vacillating between like anger, fear, like a surprise. Like it just keeps rotating. It's like she has those three emotions. They just keep going through over and over and over again.
I think he would just, I think he would instinctually first look to the sun and see if the sun had any like. Now that you made the candy,
The son dips one of his one of his massive fingers in, trots over, and then shoves it in her mouth. She's like, mmm, mmm, oh, oh,
it's pretty good.
oh. And she kind of sits down and closes her eyes, curls up, and starts to sleep.
Oh, you little rascal.
He offers the remainder on his finger to you, like, hey, want the rest of this?
No, I need to be awake. I need to be awake.
The hand equivalent of
Um,
it takes about 20 minutes before Adeline comes back in. And she does come in, the door's open, and there's a gaggle of I guess we'll call them Feywives, but they're not the Feywives. They're members of the cult, and they're staying there watching.
Yeah.
And she comes up and she gives you a hug, and then she attempts to kiss you.
I think Tiburon, like instinctually, because this has been his situation for so long, is just kind of like when she tries to touch him, I think he's kind of just like I'm sorry,
You catch the glimpse over her shoulder of the Feywives. And when she makes her way over, there's this moment of, and when you push her away, it goes to like clenched hands around weapons again.
I'm sorry. It's
She says, no, I understand.
I don't know what's.
She has her head down. She won't look at you. And she's like, I didn't think it would work. She kind of laughs and she holds up her stump. She's like, it worked.
I'm so sorry. What worked? What do you mean? What did you do?
Well, when we ask the wives for something, we have to sacrifice something. And I asked for you, and I told them I would give the thing that makes me. And it's my craft. So, no more hammer. She kind of laughs half-heartedly. I'm glad you're alive. I just how did you even get here? Where were you?
I've been all over or nowhere. It's unclear around here how things work.
It's been months.
Has it?
They went looking for you. They're still looking for you.
Oh. I was given powder by Miriam. And
I don't know who that is.
I hardly did either, but when I was told it would open a portal for me, and when it did, it put me inside the oven here, which was less than ideal. But perhaps she was working on your behalf.
She stares like past you. She says, "You should go. They're going to return at some point. They can smell you.
You should come with me."
She kind of looks at you and you see her eyes are glazed over. She says, "Should I?"
Yes.
She takes a big sigh. She takes her apron off. She lays it on the confectioner's table. She picks up the bowl. She walks over to the doorway where the women are. And she says, "You know as well as I do, just a taste. The rest is for the wives. You know to tell them who it was from." They kind of all talk to each other in hushed tones, and they start all one by one hugging her. And then she invites you over to the hearth fire. She pulls out a pouch. She throws in the fire, and there is this aroma of spices that smell like winter. Just this, all the smells of you would get walking into a relative's home. Wash over you, and then she walks into the fire. And you watch her burn, and she puts her hand out to you.
He'll take it.
And you walk through the fire. And gripping onto your leg is Sun.
Yeah, I was
like,
Sun's clearly coming with. Yeah, for sure.
You walk through the fire, and you walk out, and you're in a raucous roadhouse. And you see a man sitting at a table just laughing, a large man, writing and laughing and talking to all these different people. I mean, this is like a Star Wars cantina-like scene of all sorts of races and people and you know, of all walks of life, all gleefully cohabitating in this massive place that feels like it's moving.
Man, I was really hoping you'd actually make a Roadhouse reference.
This is all both you guys' fault and chat's fault, by the way. And the guy stands up and brushes all the crumbs out of his beard. Think of Brian Blessed.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Brushes all off his frilly shirt and his velvet jacket and gets up and he goes, "Another round for our friends. Those here and those we might have forgotten. But you know who never forgets." He walks up to you, throws his arm around you, and says, "Stephen the Robust never forgets." And he ushers you over to his table. And you see on the table are Steve's thick almanacs. The works of Steve the Robust.
Steve or Steve?
No, it was just Steve.
Okay.
I was like, there's only one Steve.
Okay, so make sure
We're
that
not going to go
Steve wasn't making a
backwards.
comeback. Yeah.
We're only moving forward.
Okay.
All right. Back in the thaw.
I don't like it here. It's cold.
Romulus's eyes kind of shudder a little bit, like opening and closing. And he sits up and he's like, oh, I have to hit so hard. Oh, you hear his jaw pop. And he reaches up to feel what he thinks is going to be a huge knot on his head. And it's not there. And he's like, huh.
I took care of that.
He turns and looks. And he reaches out and he puts his hand on your face, like so gently, like to make sure you're there. And he just smears your face around for a second. And he was like, well, I'll be damned. And then he reaches into his jacket and he pulls out the longest flask you've ever seen and takes at least a 30-second pull off of it while looking at you the whole time, caps it and puts it back. He's like, oh, whew, special medicine. Oh,
Special medicine.
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 Mm.
Is that medicine you make yourself?
Are they real?
Yes, they're real.
They're playing on the sawhorses. He's like, our rocking horses.
They're real.
They're not,
No. As far as I'm aware, I've been taking care of them for a while now.
Holy shit. I was for sure. Who
hit you?
Well, my friend hit me. I was having a weird freak out and Paramore punched me, I think. I mean,
why would he punch you?
Because I was going to run out. I was having a freak out. I was going to run right out into the middle of the storm.
Why?
He just hit me really hard, harder than I think he meant to.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were dead.
I mean, we're not, but I get the feeling other people might be.
Everybody's dead.
I kind of got the feeling.
There's a reason.
Why aren't you dead? If everybody's dead,
he
wouldn't
looks
that be
back
you?
at the kids and he turns his back to me. He pulls his shirt up and you see how emaciated he is.
Okay, what about Jess? Is Jess dead?
That's knocking on my door every single day. I'm just too ornery to let him in.
Okay, who's not dead?
Well, I don't think Jess is dead.
Who else?
And I know that Luke is not dead. He's too annoying to die.
Okay.
And then I don't think you can kill Paramore.
No, he's a Warforge.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can kill him. I don't think he can die. Because Warforge can die. I don't think he can die.
Okay. So
you seen Warforge before?
Yeah.
You know they generally have that little thing in their head, that little glowing thing.
Mm-hmm.
He don't. You ever notice that?
He don't. I'm guessing I didn't notice that. No.
You did not. He just, I think he's stuck here, just like the rest of us.
Okay.
But everyone else, I ain't seen Jess in damn near a year and a half.
I saw her tonight. She's not looking good.
Why the hell are you here? This place is death.
We didn't try to come here. We were just trying to go home.
Well, how did you get here?
We trying to find my way from the Feywild back home.
No. If he comes back, he can't know that we've been talking.
Who's we?
You and me.
No. Who he comes back? Who's he? Sorry.
Paramore. He's doing what he thinks is the right thing because that's what old Zedediah wants him to do. But I don't think he even knows anymore what he's supposed to be doing. When everybody started dying or people started dropping, it broke his heart. He was supposed to protect us. You can't fight a storm. You can't fight a curse. And you sure as hell can't fight some pissed off Fey power.
Well, you can if you're.
Not when it can take the form of a storm that don't end. And that piece of shit, Yano, don't take no for an answer.
Who's Yano?
He's some fae. Looks kind of like a coyote walking around on two legs. He's got some big thing made of drawers that walks around with him sometimes. He was supposed to marry one of ours, and she said no. And then she ran off, and none of us would tell him where she went. So he decided we were going to suffer for it. That's been 10 years. I have watched everyone I've known die for 10 years.
For some reason, that name was familiar. I just was looking back to see if that was
You've
something.
met Yano.
Yano was. Oh, in the Feywild.
Yep, he was the fiddler in the Feywild.
Okay, so he's a fiddler in the Feywild, but when he comes here, he looks like a werewolf, basically.
Coyote. He's a trickster.
Coyote.
He's a trickster god.
He's a trickster. So he's the one controlling the weather.
That's what he says. Who am I to argue with him?
Who was he supposed to marry?
One of the gals from the village. She left. And we wouldn't tell him where she went. So every year the storm comes. Sometimes it stays for a little while, sometimes it stays for a long while. And even if you die, you don't get to leave. You just stay. The Zedadiah has been keeping some of us alive for a long time.
Is Zedadiah dead?
He sighs. Says, I do in fact think he is dead. The only thing keeping him up is that mask.
Was he the only one? No, there was two people wearing a mask, wasn't there?
Zedadiah and his apprentice were wearing masks.
Okay. I wonder what happens if you take off your mask.
Well, I don't think that mask is just a mask. I think that mask is a thing.
Do you think Zedadiah's helping him at all? Other than like keeping you guys alive, but do you think he's helping him with the storm?
No. He's stuck here too. I mean, and that's when the door swings open and Paramore comes in and
I pretend like I'm checking his head and be like, oh, look at that. Look at the bump is gone. Like, oh,
the problem with that is he turns and looks at Paramore like, oh shit.
Like try to like cover his head with like I'm looking at him, but trying to block his face as best as I can.
Paramore steps in and says, children, I would like you to take you to Luca's just for a while.
No.
As we adults must speak.
No, they have to stay here, unfortunately.
No.
I promised their mother.
They do not. They will be safe with Luca. This is an important matter that must be.
They'll be okay over there playing.
He turns and looks at them and says, would you like to see Luca's other toys? And they get up and they run. Like, yeah. And he says, I shall return shortly. And he leaves with the two children. He comes back. He opens the door, and Romulus immediately goes, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't. He stands in front of the door, reaches above it, and pulls down his axe and sets it in front of him standing. He says, What are your intentions, traveler?
To survive the storm and go home.
He turns and looks over at Romulus and says, "My old friend, what are your intentions?" He looks at you and he says, "I want to get the fuck out of here. I'm dying, man." You wish to leave.
Paramore, what are your intentions?
I am forced to follow directives, but these are outside my directives.
What are your directives?
To ensure that newcomers are safe.
How far do your directives go?
If you were to cause potential harm to those in the village, I would be forced to put you down. But you appear to be of no aggressive harm towards them.
Would your directives to keep us safe involve helping us get out of here?
That is not a part of my directives. He walks towards you with the axe and he puts it right in your hands and says, "But I can only follow directives if I remain functional." And when he says that, Romulus puts his hand on his shoulder and looks at you and says, "And Zedediah can only make directives if Zedediah is functional." And he looks at you like, "What's it going to be?"
Do I get a feeling that... Do I get a feeling of like how he's working? So like he's only... Because he doesn't have the gem. He's only moving because maybe Zedediah's got him moving? Is that the...
You're not sure how Warforged with no soul basically works. And to be honest with you, I don't even know.
Oh, jeez Louise. You're not helping.
Yeah, that's the point. I don't have to help. I'm the dungeon master. It was very good. It was very good.
Feywild. I don't think I have the ability, like, I don't think I have the strength to take out a Warforge. Unless I think I can, like,
I'll let you think about it because we'll go back to the Ramblin' Roadhouse.
Ramblin' Roadhouse. Captivated balls there.
You're sitting across from Steve.
Steve.
It's such a great name, Steve the Robust.
Steve the Robust.
Steve's sitting there burping, rubbing his belly, drinking another huge mug of beer. He says, "Well, hell, I thought I smelled the Feywild on you, and if goddamn I do smell the Feywild on you."
Is it still there? He was like prestidigitate himself to smell it.
No, you don't smell that. It smells
No.
good. It smells like home.
I've been soaking in it.
You do. And he's like, "Also, is that a goddamn troll's arm?"
Yes, it's my friend.
He immediately starts scrawling in his book very, very rapidly.
Is Adeline here, or did Adeline
Adeline's sitting there as well.
And this is Adeline.
She's like, she looks at him and says, "We've met."
Oh, well.
Well, I mean, we've been cordial with one another.
Okay.
And she goes, "You grabbing my ass when I was 17 at a festival is, hey, I grab a lot of asses. It doesn't matter who you are." In fact, he goes, "You get up. No, get up." And he grabs you. He grabs you. Okay. He's like, "Well, fine." And he like pulls you up, grabs your ass, looks at it and goes, "See?" And he puts you back down. He's like, I'll grab that troll arm. I'll do it.
It doesn't have an ass.
It's got
Currently.
knuckles. Yeah, all fair. He's like, listen, in my younger days, I've been known to not be I've been a carouser. And I won't lie about it.
Okay.
And I do apologize.
Thank you.
But the best stories come from carousing.
I don't doubt it.
He's like,
Can I ask?
he just looks at me and says, you came through the fire. So,
Yes.
Feywild. If my knowledge on, and he pulls through a stack of his own books and starts looking things up. He's like, so you quit, right? That's what just happened. You quit. And she just looks down. He says, whoo! He looks over at you and he goes, that must have been, you all must be real good friends. And he looks down where her hand is and he says, real good friends.
We are.
Because, no offense, Adeline, but you ain't getting that back. Even with a spell, you ain't getting it back. That's theirs now.
Where are we?
You're in my rambling roadhouse.
Where is that?
Everywhere.
Oh.
I can go anywhere in this bad boy.
Okay.
You see, here's the point about carousing. Y'all heard of Vasilia?
No.
She's one of them. They're daughters of the Baba Yaga. And this was her house at one point, and then she gifted it to me after a particularly beautiful night of carousing. Also, she was pissed at some piece of shit trickster, so she gave it to me, and it goes anywhere I want it to.
Really?
And everywhere in between. Hell, it goes to places I don't want it to go to.
Fun. That's very fun.
And occasionally she slips in and we share a drink and a story and a little bit commiserating. And I don't know why he turned Southern so fast. He's like every shitty uncle on my dad's side of the family of all time.
I can see that. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, once I get a dirty 30 in me, it's off into the races.
Steve, I have been.
You would tell me your name. What's your business?
My name is Tiburon. Sausalito. I work in.
Is that ending with is that sausage, Sausalito, like sausage with the Lido at the end of it?
Sort of.
Okay.
My family.
I'll worry about the spelling with the other pencil later. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, my family is, for thousands of years, has been the finest purveyor of cured meats, rare meats.
I don't know. I've eaten a lot of meat.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of rare meat. And I've never heard of Sausalito meats, but I damn sure want to try them.
Well, you should. Tiburon fully would have eaten every last.
Yeah, I was going to say Tiburon is all rationed out. He says, hey, looking down at the sun and says, hey, what's on your finger? And it holds up its finger and he just goes, oh, that's some mother's milk.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. You know, one time I ate a whole bowl of that shit. Oh, I woke up, it was 4 years later. I had a beard down to my balls.
Funny enough, I have a whole bowl of it right here. If you
Adeline took it and left it. Remember, she had the.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right for the wives. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
because you're thinking that maybe the son wanted to leave that for them.
Sure.
Woo! Oh.
I made
Well,
that. And
he
I'm
was
not even
really
very good.
good. He was really good. Hey, thank you there,
Thank
son.
you.
He
Thank you.
points over and the son just does a little like this. You know, it's going to take him a while to grow back. Like he's going to be a big one.
Yes, well.
But I know a place where you could dip him in there and he'll come back right quick.
Really?
Yeah. There's places out here. It's over inside the scar, where there was a big old battle. A bunch of trolls died. Their blood just sits there. It congeals, but it don't ever really evaporate. You put him in there, and he'll come right back.
Well, how does that sound, son?
He gives the equivalent of a hand version of.
That's worth a shot, right? I'm headed
So
back
yeah,
to
hell of a
the
deal, hell of a deal. I've been hearing about this guy. It's Dib. And I
Dib?
kind of want to talk to this guy because we've never met in person, but I've heard stories about him from his previous military experiences. I heard he set himself up as some type of highway warlord or something like that over past Rustwell Keep. And I think that's an interesting thing because he's a bugbear. And the guy in Restwell is some crazy paladin. And they're not killing each other. Do you know how rare that is?
I do, in fact.
He's a friend from work. That is amazing.
I do, in fact. I live near there.
Isn't it very, very, very special times? And he looks over and Adeline is looking down at the stump, just staring at her stump. He's like, well, shit, I've done talked your ears off, and I'm sure you two got a lot to talk about. Yeah. And they little pixies bring over a key ring and drop it on the table for you. The night's on me. Just don't break anything.
Sure, of course.
Because if you do, it's probably alive and it will eat you.
I've spent the last.
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
Oh,
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. But I'm not. I'm not.
But you're
at all.
not. Okay.
No,
Good.
He says, Miss Adeline, pleasure to meet you again. I will be much on my better behavior with you going forward. He smiles and he says, Mr. Sausage Lido, I look forward to trying them meats.
Sure.
But not tonight.
No. I'm
Rain
fresh
check.
out.
Rain check.
Rain check.
And he goes back to drinking and laughing and cruising all around this massive roadhouse that, like I said, you can feel this thing moving while you're in it.
Yeah.
And this is a party place. Like everyone is just, it's a raucous. It's just, you feel like this never stops.
Sure. I'm into it. But he will take Adeline to the room. And son, of course.
And son.
The whole party.
The whole party. You guys head up to your room. You head up to your room and you walk in. It's like looks like a standard indoor, like maybe a little dicier in. But when you open up the room, it is this huge, extravagant space. And you realize that this is the equivalent of like a Leodaman's tiny hut, but better type of room. Like you're thinking like, is this just full of weird interdimensional spaces? But yeah, she's kind of looking around. She goes, okay, I did not expect this.
It's nice, right? It's larger on the inside.
She's like, look at the furniture. It's one of the first things she said. She like, the woodwork is immaculate. And then she kind of stops and she looks down again and she's like, just kind of her shoulders sink.
Hey. Come sit.
She sits down.
I'm sorry that you've given up your gift, especially to them. I'm also sorry about how I greeted you, how I reacted to you. I liked how we were getting to know each other. liked it very much. I was looking forward to getting to know you better, and I still do.
She stops you and she says, I think this is just as much on me. Things have not been easy. I lost someone only to find out the person who I trusted most was the one who took them. And that person wasn't at all who I thought they were. And you came riding in like a knight on a horse, except for not a knight and no horse.
I'm not even big enough to ride a horse.
She kind of giggles and she says, yeah. And I think I was just looking for something, for just something to hold on to, I guess.
Sure.
Because so much of it has been falling apart. And I think rather than us talking about things and having a conversation about them, or my thoughts or feelings, and your thoughts or feelings, I just assumed. And then things went completely off the rails. And I went to the Feywild because I didn't know what else to do. I can only make so many things. When everything else is broken, I don't know what else to do. And now I can't even make things. So I got to figure this out. I've got to figure things out. So you don't owe me an explanation. You do not owe me an apology. I've lost my way a little bit. And this has kind of sobered me up from all of that.
I understand. You've been through so much. It's a miracle, and it's a testament to your strength that you've survived, that you've persevered. I don't blame you for seeking out something new, a solution, anything. I just, maybe next time, try a group called the Success Wives.
She laughed very hard. She legitimately laughs so hard she's like almost crying. She's just laughing and laughing. And we move back to Dianthus. Romulus says, he kind of steps you away from Paramore, who's just standing there, and says, listen, he either wants you to axe him or you can go axe the wizard. It's one or the other. But we got to do something.
Well, yeah, but I don't think axing him is going to help us ultimately get out.
I don't want to kill my friend, but I'll tell you what, it'll keep him from trying to kill us.
Yeah, but how do you even kill a Warforge?
You just chop his head off. I mean, he's just like anything else. You just cut the head off. I mean, I'm a doctor, technically. I mean, I'm more of like a alchemist, I guess, or apothecary, sort of. But I mean, you cut things' heads off. They tend not to move around anymore. They tend to.
Can you reattach it later?
Me?
Well, yeah, I don't want him gone permanently.
No, I cannot do that. Well, then let's just go kill the fucking wizard.
And that was kind of my thought.
Well, his job is to look after those kids, right? And you.
Yes.
Well, then I'm just going to go set fire to the woodworker's house.
Then he'll have to go look at the kids.
Yep. I mean, Luca's a pain in the ass. If he dies, I'm not too worried about it.
Don't kill Luca, but just go distract him.
He's one of the only people who's been alive with me for 10 fucking years. I want to kill him.
Don't kill him.
So Paramore, I gotta go. I'm feeling much better. I'm gonna follow the ropes. I'm gonna get back to my house. He says, I have brought your medication, and it is literally just a bottle of hooch. It's like, oh, thank God. He drinks some of it, and he looks in and he goes, oh, he stuffs a rag in the top of him, and he goes, winky face at you. Well, I'll see myself out. He walks out, and about 3 minutes later, you hear an explosion and screaming. Paramore looks at you and says, I shall return. And just walks out into the snow.
Excellent. So, first thing, Dispel magic can dispel a magical effect. Is this storm considered a magical effect?
It is, but here's the thing.
Probably higher level.
Significant.
Okay.
Now, I would let you roll a dispel magic on an area around you.
No, I'm going to use the storm to my advantage then.
Okay.
Because I am going to...
You also have Paramour's Axe.
Okay, I'll put that in my belt.
It's not. It's an axe. I mean, it is like a huge polearm style axe. It's big.
Well, I can hold on to it. So my thought is, this is my thought. I have a new spell called Gaseous Form. So I thought I would turn myself into a gas.
Fart shape.
Fart shape. It's my fart spell. Sneak into Zedediah's house. Because hopefully he's not expecting a fart to come in through a crack in the wall.
Probably not.
And then I will probably have to drop that. Oh, where did it go?
What are you trying to be, Galactus in the second Fantastic Four movie? Just a giant fart cloud?
Just a giant fart cloud. Well, that's just to sneak in and hopefully get past everything. And
Fair.
Lovely. So my thought was I would sneak in, hopefully be undetected by the undead thingy, Brill, and Zedediah. And then, if possible,
You're going to cast Gaseous Form to do that?
on myself to sneak
You're
in.
good. Yep, that's easy. You can do that without.
My hope is to get in, get behind him, become corporal again, and then touch him and cast Contagion. Specifically,
I don't think Contagion works on the dead.
it's a necromancy spell. There's several. It's inflicting a disease, and there's several different options. So I guess I don't know. It's a melee spell attack, and if I hit, inflict a disease of my choice.
That would not affect an undead. They're immune to disease.
Damn it!
Do you have a different spell? I mean, I like the idea a lot. That's why I'm telling you. Like, otherwise, I would just let you try it and have you fail, and you'd hate me for like 2 days.
No one hates you.
You'd be just. I don't hate you. I'm just very disappointed.
Just very disappointed. I mean, the other option is to just cast Flaming Sphere and try to light his house on fire, and hopefully he's.
What are you, Romulus? What are you? You're taking the Romulus? The Romulus?
I mean, I'm considering it.
The other thing, think back to what they told you about him, that he's dead, and what's animating him.
I didn't pay attention to what was animating him. That's my bad. Hold on.
It was his mask.
His mask. So I have to get his mask off of him.
Mm-hmm.
What if I sneak in gaseous form, I come up behind him, and I do the thing that's been the best for us the whole time. I put the Cravat of Nulling on him.
Oh, shit.
Sneak up behind him.
Make me a melee attack. That's all you got to do. And I will give you advantage because it's a sneak attack.
Which dice? Okay. Oh, advantage?
Yeah, I'll give you advantage on this.
I pulled out new dice. One's a 9. The one's a 17. Plus something, I'm sure.
God damn it.
Silent
I cast Gaseous Form, silent but deadly.
Silent but deadly. 19.
You slip the cravat, you just literally just throw it around his neck, and he crumbles. But the mask does not.
Can I take the mask off?
Oh, the mask is hanging in the air and slowly turns to face you.
Oh, shit.
And you hear a voice in your head say, that was a flawless stratagem. But we have come to an impasse now, as I have no form, but I refuse to be silenced.
Can I cast Dispel Magic on the mask?
When you say that, it says, you can try, but I am
Damn
a awakened artifact,
Okay.
and I will destroy you if you attempt to do that. You have destroyed my vessel. I require a new vessel. I mean you no harm. I simply wish to protect the people that remained here.
You're not protecting them,
But
though.
in
You're slowly killing them.
doing so, I have also been forced to do this through the mind of the dead. That's my only attachment to humanity. I can see now that that was incorrect. So we are at an impasse.
No, we're
If
not. You can just go home.
I am without home. So what you realize is this is a sentient magic item. It's an artifact.
Yeah.
So it needs a host.
I mean, I can tell people if someone wants to volunteer.
Well, I will need a vessel until then.
I'm sure you got your friend walking around here somewhere.
The apprentice is wearing a mask that animates him. Once that mask is removed, he will simply not be animated any longer.
Can't
This
we
was done before Zebediah died of natural causes, and I was trapped on his undead form.
So if I take the mask off, the apprentice, you can't have that body?
I cannot. I can take your body.
You can't have my body.
If we were to come to a consensus that you would allow me to use your form as a vessel for a short-term period, I could lead us out of this area safely.
You don't care.
Then if you found me a more suitable host, I would happily leave.
Well, does it have to be a live body?
It does. As you can see, when I occupy a dead form, my decision making becomes erratic.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee if I even let you use me temporarily, you're going to let me go.
You have my word.
Doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know you.
I will allow us to be in a similar partnership as I used with Zebediah before he unfortunately passed. Think of it as a short-term partnership of convenience.
So the gist is the only way out is to let him use me, but in order to get rid of him, I have to impose him on someone else.
You have to find someone else that he can utilize or that would want to wear the mask and have that sort of partnership.
Who's going to want to wear the mask? So if I just walk out, he won't let me walk out?
You'll be in a battle of wills where he can just forcibly take your body if you lose the battle of wills. Of wisdom checks.
So I'm being told there's no option. Because he won't take a dead body.
He can't take a dead body.
Can't, won't, same thing.
No, they're not. You saw what happens when he's on a dead body. He does not have decision-making skills, and that's why all this stuff has happened. Like, why he was keeping people here.
Yeah, but I don't want to wear it.
Then don't. Put it on somebody else.
There's no one else to put it on. Everyone else is half dead already.
They're not dead, though. You would just have to find someone else in the village who would be willing to wear it.
I mean, I'll ask anyone in the village, but I don't think they're going to do it. Because there's Jess, there's... I fucking know that Romulus isn't.
Romulus would probably not be the best decision for that.
I don't think Luca would. And those are the only 3 people left, right? That are alive? I mean, I'll ask them, but I don't think they're going to do it.
So before you do that, the mask says, what would it require of me to prove or to give you in order for us to seal this deal? What is it going to cost me to put you in this brand new Kia Sorento? I do have the ability to utilize impressive magic.
Don't think I really care about the magic. What I'm concerned is like that no one's going to want to willingly take this on, and I don't want to be stuck in this forever. So it's really not conducive to what I do, what I like to do in my spare time. That was good work.
Well, those are your options.
I know, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing he can give me because I don't really care about. Like if you sit talking about using his spells to gift me with something, I don't really care about that. I'm looking for like a real solid guarantee that this is a temporary thing, and I don't know if he
You
can actually
make
give that to me.
make me an insight check.
Well, I'm just saying I don't think he can give that to me because it relies on someone else wanting to do that.
Well, you can see if he's being true to his word, or it's being true to its word.
14.
Yeah. Well, this has no reason to lie to you.
No. See, that's the thing is, I'm not. It's actually not him. You're giving me that face. It's not him I'm worried about. Is I am stuck as long as I can't find someone else to take it over. So if I wander the world and no one says they want to do it, it's not him keeping me there. It's because...
Well, you also know different people that would probably be very happy to do this.
Who would I know that would be happy to do that?
I can think of at least 3 NPCs right off the top of my head. One of them would probably not be a good choice, but 2 of the other ones probably decent choices.
I mean, I'd have to think about it because I'm coming, or like the thing about the people. I can't give you an answer to that right now. But I mean, my impression is I'm not getting a choice. That like that's what he needs, and that's the only thing that's gonna make it so people aren't dying anymore. So you're giving me the face of like it's not your only choice, but it is. It's my only choice because if I leave, he's gonna force himself on me. So at least if I go into it with like a willing agreement.
He wouldn't force himself upon you. It would be a willpower check against his willpower. If you lost, he would just occupy you. But you know what? I'm not going to argue about it anymore. If that's where you're at, then we can either do the wisdom check, or you can wear it, or you can just say no and walk away and then beat the wisdom check.
I know. I was just rationalizing and saying that like if I don't agree to it and he forces himself upon me, then there is no guarantee he'll let me go. Is what I'm getting to, right? Like
Sure.
if I fail the wisdom, is there any like there's no getting out of this ever again though, right? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
If he finds a different candidate, he's not staying on someone who's an unwilling candidate. That's dumb. It lessens his powers. Or their powers. I don't really know if he has a gender, or if they have a gender. I don't really know. It's a
You could
fucking
decide
sentient
that
magic.
you're the DM.
Yeah, it's a sentient magic item. I don't even know.
No.
All I know is I don't want to litigate this anymore. I just want a decision.
I'll put it on.
Okay, you put it on. You are in a room and at a fine table and sitting across from a shape with a mask on. And They look to be wearing, like, their shape looks very similar to your shape. And they stand up and they you're not sure what they're doing when they kind of go over to you, but it looks to be some sort of like greeting, but like greeting from somewhere else, someone else. Like this very archaic, formalized greeting. I am Lazarus. I was forged before the world. I have survived calamities. And I have lost my friend. You have reason not to trust me. I will not tempt your distrust. I will let you know you are not an ideal candidate for me. This is a temporary arrangement, but I'm hoping in our time together, you can at least see me as a non-hindrance and perhaps help me find the best possible candidate for me to bond with. As a show of good faith, I have something I will give to you in return before we leave. But we should leave now. At some point, Yana will realize that something is amiss.
So you're doing the weather, or Yano's doing the weather?
The weather is not my doing.
So us leaving is just going to leave the town to suffer from at Yano's hand still.
All that are living will be going with us.
Oh, okay.
Whether they choose to or not, I will not allow them to stay here and suffer.
Okay.
Some of them have been mentally damaged by their time here.
Seems pretty obvious.
So we'll just kind of montage our way through it. He does get everybody together, and you're wearing this mask. Think about it like Dr. Fate's mask. Naboo is the helmet, but Naboo has to also have somebody to drive the helmet.
Yeah.
And if that somebody is also a caster, Naboo can't just force them to do stuff. They can go, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
Or if you fuck around, Naboo, I will take the helmet off.
Yeah.
He gathers everybody together, and he literally teleports you. But before he does, he casts a wish spell.
I hope he words it correctly.
Yeah. He's a fucking artifact, yeah. He casts a wish spell, and he gives Paramore back their full control, self-will, and basically soul type of thing back.
Paramore come with or stay?
Yep, no. Comes with. There's nothing there for him.
Well, I just didn't know, like, I don't know if he's considered a living being.
He is now. He's back to being considered a living being. And you all teleport. And he asks you where you would like to teleport to.
Gotta take the kids home.
You wish to take them home, then they shall be home. Do you wish to accompany them home?
I mean, that's where I was supposed to go back and meet everyone, I think.
So as your DM, the only reason I ask is, are you just saying, well, Tiburon's on their fucking out?
Oh. Can we go save Tiburon? Is he willing to do that?
I can take you anywhere.
But if I just tell you a person, you can find them?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Go save Tiburon, because I know he didn't make it back out.
You teleport. Tiburon, what are you doing at this moment in your room?
Oh god, I'm gonna teleport in its room. Whoops, sorry guys.
Whoopsie!
Sorry to interrupt.
That we're having a conversation about boundaries.
Even better.
He is probably, if like, I have to imagine that he is sleeping. Probably, like, he is so tired. Like, he has been broadly awake for 2 months. You know, just bits here and there. He,
Okay.
you know, once he feels like things with Adeline have hit a point, you know. He loses immediately.
Constantly.
He lost arm wrestling that one too. Yeah, I think once things have gotten to like a place like he and Adeline are cool for the moment, he would probably like just probably even like involuntarily just crash. So he's probably asleep, depending on how
Okay.
much
So,
time has happened.
Tiburon has passed out. You guys teleport into this room and you see Adeline's back and a knife in her hand over Tiburon's form. You teleport in and she turns around and looks at you and see a chunk of wood being held in Sun's fingers that she is carving a hand out of.
Oh, so she's not attacking Tiburon.
No, she was just standing over to use the light. And she's like, oh, what?
I can't take
she's
the
like-
mask. I can't like even lift the mask up, right? Like it's on.
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
right now. She reaches down and you're going to want to get up for this.
What? No, I don't. I don't want to get up. I don't.
She's like, Tiburon, get up.
No.
She
Hey,
looks
Tiburon.
down, she goes,
What?
son. She says,
What?
son, and Son reaches down and grabs your leg and pulls you off the bed.
Oh. What? He's like just dangling upside
Yep.
down. No.
And you look up and you're like, what?
What? No. What
Do you
is
guys wanna-
what is
do you
this?
guys wanna
I
go
don't-
home?
I don't have room for this right now. I don't have
Do you wanna-
room
do you
for
wanna go
more
home?
things.
You hear a banging on the door. Whack, 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 whack.
Things keep happening all the time. I don't.
Did you just let somebody teleport into my roadhouse?
I didn't let
This
anyone
is
do
some
anything.
shit right here.
You
I
can
give
kick
you a
them out
nice
if you
room.
want to.
He
Kick
picks
them
his head
out.
and
I
he
don't
goes,
care.
oh!
Leave.
He looks at you and Adeline and he says, y'all a bunch of freaks. There's kids here.
Oh, write about it in your almanac. Oh.
Oh, God, I got to write about it. Hey, get the fuck out of here. And you guys teleport away without having control over it. And
Cool.
you find yourselves right in front of Westwall Keep.
Ugh.
And you're like, what? Tiburon, you're like, you got your sleeping clothes on, because I'm assuming you have sleeping clothes. You're kind of that guy. And
probably does.
you're let back into the city.
What are you?
The kids go back to their mother. You're showered with oaths and with appreciation.
What are you wearing?
Would you like me to tell him, or would you like to tell him?
I got it. It's fine. Tell the long story.
So the next month passes, and I would like you each to tell me 3 things that happened in that month.
Okay. I think that Tiburon sets up in his already he already has his sort of feed production area. He sets up begins a confectionery in there for Sun. He does go to the ogre blood place to see
The troll blood?
Troll blood place to see what that's all about. And
So that's something I want you to keep as something that you want the group to do, because that's going to be.
oh, okay, sure, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so starts putting together a confectionery. I think he offers to Adeline to come. It's blue. Everyone loves the blue sauce.
Give me that blue
Purest.
sausage. The purest blue sausage.
Purest blue sausage. It's just all nitrates. So he, I think he like offers to Adeline to also like utilize the space if she wants to learn a new craft. He will he could always use help around and is happy to teach her the ways of cured meats. He also, I think, seeing the sort of awkward knife block moment in the room is also like, we can work on trying to find a way for you to get back to woodworking. Like, why don't we do this together? But
She agrees to some of it, but she says she'll have to let you know kind of how that will work. In
Sure.
the meantime, though, she's taken on a roommate.
ooh,
She took on Luca because he's like, I have ideas about that hand.
oh,
I might be able to do something with that. He's like, one thing you guys all notice is it wasn't just Paramore that kind of came back. It was all three of them. So that spell wasn't just for Paramore. Like, they all have come back to some semblance of their senses. None of them want to stay in Restwell at all.
Okay.
You get the impression that they don't feel comfortable there. Too big, too much shit going on. So they will go to
Can I introduce them to a bear?
yeah, I think they would like that. They instead will go to God, I can't remember the name of the other town all of a sudden that you live in, Tiburon.
Oh, they want to.
Burwich.
Is that
Burwich. They'll
that-
go to Burwich.
okay?
And they'll all three kind of fit in pretty readily with there. I mean, they all have skills. So they all basically pal around for the next month at your place until things can be built. But that's kind of where I see that going.
Sure.
Dianthus, what's your plan? You still have two more to give me, or Ryan, if you want to throw them out really quickly.
2 more. Well, so I've got the whole, like, Adeline can access the space for he'll teach her things. Like, that's, I think, 1. He sets up the confectionery, which is 2.
Oh, and researches the sun's potential return.
And then we I think he'll, like, learn more about what's going on there. But we can save that to do for other times of group. And I think any other spare time he would have, he would largely be trying to finish the keep that because he lives in, like, the house that was given to them by the mayor, and he's kind of in charge of making that into a facility. So I think
Shea Sausalito.
He's trying to make that into a facility. He's supposed to make that into, like, the keep or the
office.
the guild space.
Was that at the keep or was that at Burwich?
That was in Burwich.
So
with Jefferson Headley.
Yeah, so, like, the mayor gave us that house that we initially went to. That was all fucked up.
Yeah.
And then Tiburon has been. That's because I think the part of the other original reason we went there was because the guild was trying to establish a presence there. So he's been working to make that into a guild facility, but he, as Tiburon is wont to do, has made sure that his space is done first. So
I just like the idea that he's probably the mayor gave it to him because no one's going to live there because someone probably died there anyways.
Lots of people died there.
Lots of people died there.
It's like no one wants to buy a ghost home, so
there was that
you.
Bootlegging tunnel underneath it.
Yes.
I'm sure he's using that to his advantage.
Listen, finding a cave that is good for
Tiburon
temperature.
never met a cave he didn't like.
Right?
No. Never met a cave he didn't like. That's true.
Sure, it's got the right humidity for
big spelunker.
Tiburon, probably.
big spelunker.
Big spelunker. That's his nickname, Big Spelunker.
Yeah, Big Spelunker. Tiburon, Big Spelunkers.
Also sounds like an NXT name.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit.
Dianthus, what are your 3 things that you're doing in the month?
I think she was very invested in trying to get everyone set up to wherever they're at now. Like that,
Yep.
like big deal. Like she was, got him out there checking on the kids. She's basically out there just taking care of people most of the
What
time.
is so? I would ask you, what do you think Paramore does?
I think Paramore goes where everyone else goes. I
Okay.
think there's probably an attachment there. So I think he's willing just to do whatever in in Burwich, where, it's like a protection muscle, something in town. I could see him just being like helping everybody doing something.
Yeah, that's good. That's an awesome idea. I like that a lot.
He feels like a caring guy, even though he doesn't probably have a lot of emotions, but
Well, he I would say he has much more now.
probably.
There's much more now. I mean, Warforged aren't robots.
Yeah.
But when you're basically just a shell, I would look you more as a robot now. I would say he's far more like gregarious and probably far more like outwardly affectionate.
But he took care of them for so long, I don't think he'd stop.
Okay, I love that. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So do that. I have to keep up with my Dib stuff. Because Dib. I know that guy. He's a friend from work.
Yeah. Oh man, I know that guy.
But I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time getting to know this Lazarus guy, because gotta figure out a place for him to go.
Well,
I don't think what he wants and what I want are probably gonna match, but I guess I don't know for sure until I get to know him.
Well, you do have a couple options.
Them.
You do have a couple options, though.
Oh, I was waiting for you to elaborate on options. I'm sorry. I thought you were going to tell me more.
Well, do you know a wizard who has a keep?
I mean, I know a couple of wizards, but the one just kicked me out. Steve the Robust.
Steve the Robust is not a wizard.
The thing, well, I have
Steve
him
the
down.
Robust is at best a bard.
When we first met him, we looked at Thick Steve's, who is Steve the Robust, Wizard's Almanac.
Oh shit, he's a wizard. Fuck me.
That's what you said in the beginning.
He's multi-class because he's also a bard.
Okay, I was gonna say
Thick Steve.
Steve the Robust, Wizard is what I wrote down.
Okay, perfect. You know one guy who has a keep, who you're friends with.
I'm struggling with names today. I know Earthmane's keep, but we don't know Earthmane, do we?
You know Onius Earthmane.
We know Onius Earthmane?
Yep, you helped him get his keep back.
Okay, that's an option.
You also know somebody who would love to have this mask, who lives in Burwich and has a dog.
You realize my notes are too long. I'm gonna have to really look for that. So you can either give me the hint.
Who has a dog named Buck? It's Jefferson Headley, baby.
Jefferson Headley. I don't think Jefferson Headley should get it.
Okay, that's fine. That's good.
I
wouldn't say that to his face, but
no, I'm trying to.
Jefferson Headley, you ain't getting it. The Bargizzard of Oz.
I guess it's there. It's harder to get through the notes real quickly. Sorry.
Well, that is your assignment for the next until next session.
I need time to figure that out.
Yeah. Or if there's nobody you want to give it to currently.
But what does he want? What is his ultimate goal?
His ultimate goal is to have a physical form again. And then he'll figure it out from there.
But what is his goal for
that's beyond
when he's sharing a body with someone?
That's beyond the ken of mortal minds. AKA, I have no fucking clue.
Okay. Well, I just was thinking there's no point pairing with someone if someone else has got a big goal that he's not willing to work with on it or something. You know what I mean?
It's not. I think you're looking at it it's one way or the other. It's a partnership. It's very much like we share a form, but my goals and your goals do not have to be mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, thank Dr. Fate.
No.
Because Kent Nelson, when he was Dr. Fate, definitively did not do things Naboo wanted. Sometimes just to piss Naboo off, and sometimes Naboo made Kent Nelson do shit Kent didn't want to do.
Yeah, no, I just was knowing what he wants and how that might work for or against someone else. That was the curious thing.
Okay. It's been 3 hours and I am officially out of gas. And considering I wrote these notes for this adventure like 3 months ago, I feel pretty good about how that fell apart.
Fell apart.
Literally 3 months ago, almost to the day.
It's falling apart. It assumes that nothing worked out.
I don't know. I hope you guys had fun. Go around the table, tell people where they can find Joe Ass.
Cassandra, you can't find me anywhere, which is
Discord.
I'm on Discord, but you have to be invited to Discord to be on it. Our Discord. So Ben's trying to get me on Instagram. We'll see.
The only reason I want you on Instagram is
you can send me
because
stuff, yeah.
you can find cosplay stuff on there. That's literally like the majority of stuff I look at.
It's also be easier for you to send things to me because
would be
I
a little
can't even open the things that are on Instagram because it won't let me.
It's easier.
Maybe. We'll see.
That's true. I'm Warrior. You can find me on Blue Sky at Warrior. That's probably the best place to do it, honestly. Yeah. I'll be here sometime next month. Whatever the next thing is.
I will be here multiple times next month. Yeah.
Star Wars, I think. And
yeah,
Star,
I think we might do something on the 8th, which is a Sunday, December 8th, because it's my birthday, and I generally run a game on my birthday. I have for the last like 4 or 5 years. I don't know what it would be yet, but
don't you want someone to run a game for you so you could play?
That never works.
I know it. I know another DM out there.
That dude is busy.
You know he'll do it for your birthday.
The dude is busy. So I don't know if what we'll play, but I have a Mountain Monsters idea, which is fucking stupidly ridiculous, involving the Yeti and Ron Reese.
I mean, sounds like a job for Cab Toyota.
Yeah. What if Cab Toyota joins the Mountain Monsters crew?
Listen, he wakes up a lot of places.
Yeah. I mean, hey man, I've been looking at monsters my whole life.
Whatever, dude. I'm just here.
I'm just here. Or maybe Star Wars. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what would be something easy and fun. So you can find me on Blue Sky, King Ginger. I'm over there now. If you get on my page, it does say that Brevins bought an engineer on it. Like the Matt signal. Honestly, the Matt signal is lit all the time. It's just Matt looks at it a lot of times and goes, not today, Satan, not today. And then you can find me here Thursday. It's gonna be a Thanksgiving spook troop watch along. I put the 3 choices of movies in the Discord. It's a poll.
I voted.
I have not seen but all 3 movies look fucking terrible, and I'm all about it. One of them's called Thanksgivings.
I voted on title alone, because guess which one I voted for?
I don't know which one.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's about a killer turkey. I'm kind of into it.
I didn't even look it up. I just was like, with that title, yes. Yeah. Yes.
Plus, it's like actually kind of a well-known like cult movie. And then Sunday for prep school, I don't know what we're doing. We've had two weeks in a row with really good guests, which was super fun. So I know I'm kind of
see, Spike.
So I'm kind of jazzed to see what we do this weekend. I know I'm trying to figure out like what's next for the DC thing, because I think I would like to do that in miniseries form. And Mountain Monsters will just be continuous one shots, just like the TV show.
You're going to be recovering from a food coma. So
is there any interconnecting plot between these? Maybe, maybe, but don't worry, they'll negate that continuity will not matter in 2 more episodes. Hey, remember when we spent a whole season in the Dark Forest? What? That's literally how that show is. A whole season in the Dark Forest. You know what? So we'll do that. Oh, nice. Well, I hope it was fun, Shaggy. We had Hess Snow, formerly known as Vlad Rodnoff, was on for a couple hours, and we just talked about weird ideas. So yeah. Other than that, I want to say thank you to everyone who came and hung out and enjoyed. I want to say thank you to people who will see us in the future, and of course, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Brian for showing up and being gracious enough to go. Yeah, go for it.
I'll getting kicked out.
Yeah, I'll be there next time. Which is good because I do miss playing with Brian, and I can't wait for next month because we'll all be back on the same page. Hopefully, we'll have a couple more players. I don't know, but it would be cool if we had other people jump in occasionally. Yeah, thank you to you two. You're amazing. And I am so fortunate to get to play games with you. And thank you to me. No, fuck that. Thank you.
Thank you to you. You run a lot.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here.